All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Movement Boxing Podcast, where we bring you the latest and greatest in boxing news and update you. With no bias involved, unfiltered, uncut, keeping it raw, straight underground, no mainstream bullshit with us. So let's get started, man. Let me start off by introducing my guest my co-host for the evening, as usual. We're gonna start off with 2K, the prodigy of boxing. What's going on with you, man?
What's good, man? Same old shit. I had my motherfucking 6 eggs today, so I'm ready. You know what I mean?
Extra protein. All right, swing it along. We got Bo and Bernardo, the truth and facts about boxing. What's going on with you, man?
What's good, fam? I'm drinking grapefruit juice, so my 6 boiled eggs are in the refrigerator, ready to go.
What's good? What's good, fam? I took my 2 high pressure pills, man. I'm ready to do this shit.
All right, and I'll go ahead and introduce Big Cool from Colossal Boxing Talk. He's going to be joining us momentarily. All right, so y'all ready to get it in, man? We got a lot of news and a lot of fights to cover from this past week. You guys ready to go?
Hell yeah.
Tag me in.
Sure.
All right, for sure. So we're going to start off with the preview card, I guess, that started off. That was a precursor to Mayhem at 154 last night on Showtime. We had Abner Mares and Leah Santa Cruz both fighting last night in a fight to set up their rematch next year. Abner Mares actually won by a unanimous decision, I believe, if not a knockout, or if it wasn't stopped. Let me get you guys' thoughts on both of those fights. We're not going to go deep in them since they weren't major fights. They were just set up fights for their rematch. So what did you guys think of Abner Mares in his second fight under Robert Garcia's? I'll start off with a Bo on this one, if you had a chance to check it. Watch that one.
Man. I ain't watched that fight.
Okay.
I watched that shit, man. Listen, them 2 motherfuckers should have been fighting each other, but Santa Cruz wanted some other shit, so I like, fucking, man. I'm not finna watch y'all. Y'all should be fighting each other. Fuck that.
All right, so let me pass it on to somebody that did actually watch that one. 2K, did you get a chance to catch the precursor card?
I shit. I mean, you can go ahead and skip me. I watched the main event. I didn't watch this one.
And Mares, okay. What about you, B?
Hell no, I'm with Bo.
God damn.
You know what it is, B? Let me just say this, man. Topic to be, man, he just lost to Christian Mijares.
There you go.
Christian Mijares was a motherfucker that retired, came back. He's been off the grid. You know what I'm saying? Comeback trail, and Gutierrez ended up being on a comeback trail, right? So, at the time, it only, the Mijares loss was his only loss. You can't take him serious against a guy like Abner Mares, who is still somewhat, in his prime. And plus, we were all expecting a Mares-Santa Cruz fight. And, these guys, Chris Avalos for Santa Cruz and then Gutierrez for Mares, they were the substitution for that fight. We're not interested in that. Interested in a rematch between Mares and Santa Cruz, let alone these 2 bullshit fights. So that's the problem. That's why nobody wanted to watch it. Then it was on the same night as the big fucking 154 showdown.
You know what's surprising to me, that this fight didn't sell out with both of them on the card at StubHub. Like, for a crowd that's, a lot of Hispanics, Mexicans generally, they weren't able to sell out the StubHub yesterday for that. And I guess, a lot of what 2K was just saying, no one was looking forward to seeing those warm-ups, basically, especially that early in the afternoon on the West Coast. So, that was definitely surprising, though, with Mares and Santa Cruz both having strong ties to LA, though, that they weren't able to sell out StubHub with the kind of crowd you normally get. But I'll go ahead and do a little review of the Abner Mares fight. I mean, the thing that I liked about him in this fight is that, it's been easy to lure him into slugfest. And one of the things that I've noticed from him in his last 2 fights under Garcia, that he's been a lot more disciplined in avoiding those. As far as Gutierrez, he was able to hit him with pretty much everything. He threw 3-4 punch combos the whole fight. He didn't have a lot on his punches, which I think was one of the reasons this fight actually went the distance. He wasn't trying to knock him out, which is, something we've seen Mares get overzealous and do in a lot of his fights in the past. As far as me seeing anything that made me indicate or that was indicative of him beating Leo Santa Cruz in a rematch, considering, Leo's style, and even though Abner Mares is looking a lot more patient and boxing from the outside, I was probably more impressed with Santa Cruz in this fight because we finally saw some kind of power, from him at at featherweight, at that weight division. That's something we haven't really seen ever. He's been more of a accumulation kind of fighter, and Avalos is a guy that's known to have a pretty strong chin. He's only been down once in his career, and Santa Cruz was close to putting him out. So that was one of the things I was impressed with. And, he's been sticking with his whole boxing thing, with Santa Cruz. He didn't get overzealous and just try to overwhelm him with volume. He stayed patient. I'll pass it on to one of you other fellas to break down Santa Cruz Avalos if you saw the main event, 2K.
Yeah, I did check that one. I didn't see it all. I didn't see it in its entirety simply because that fight was just as boring as Lara Gausha, in my opinion. See, there's two types of boring for me. There's uneventful boring, which of course is Lara Gausha, and then there's boring when one dude is just thoroughly whooping another guy's ass to the point where it's kind of like, all right, man, why is he even in the ring with him? And also you have the perception that the fight's not going to be good prior to the fight, and then you're watching the fight and it comes to fruition. Chris Avalos is a guy that was knocked out by Carl Frampton and Oscar Valdez previously. So nobody was really looking for this particular matchup. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knew that Chris Avalos had absolutely no chance. And I think the Las Vegas odds had Santa Cruz at like a minus 1,000 or some shit like that. So, you couldn't make no money off of that fight if you wanted to. So, knowing that prior to the fight and then going into the fight, it was like, why is this even happening? Avalos was getting his ass whooped all over the place. It was pretty sad. It was looked like, a bully was beating the shit out of a kid, taking his lunch money, picking him up, turning him over, shaking him, shaking the change out his pockets. That's what it looked like. You know what I'm saying? So for part of the fight, I turned my back on the motherfucking screen and, probably clip my toenails and then turn back and be like, oh, shit, this nigga Avalos, he's still in the ring. They ain't stopped the fight yet. You know what I'm saying? So, but I will say this. Leo Santa Cruz did exactly what he was supposed to do. There was no situation in the fight where I was like, well, Leo is making mistakes here and there. Chris Avalos is always going to be a game opponent, even when he knows himself he has no fucking chance. He's always going to bring the fight. Leo tried to knock him out in the 4th round, and he almost had him out of there, but Avalos was able to stay on his feet. But the one thing I didn't like was the stop. Well, let me put it this way. It's not that I didn't like it. The stoppage was at the wrong time, but it was warranted because, a guy asked me earlier, I can't remember your name, dog, but shout out to you anyway. He asked me earlier, he said, hey, man, what'd you think about the Avalos stoppage? Was it premature? And I said, well, normally a stoppage like that would be premature, but when you got a guy in a fight that has absolutely no chance of winning the fight at a particular time, any type of stoppage is warranted. It's just kind of like, why are we going to allow this fight to continue when it's clear that he's just getting his ass beat? This is a sparring session. So in that particular situation, it's like, fuck it, stop the fight. There's no reason to let it go on. It's an uneventful fight. And that's what happened here. But normally I would hate that stoppage. But I guess decent win for Santa Cruz. He didn't, go in there and, look bad against a C-level fighter because we'd be hot on his ass if he did. So hopefully he'll fight somebody of note, hopefully a Gary Russell Jr. next, or maybe a Oscar Valdez, somebody that fucking matters. But other than that, it is what it is.
All right, and just to say it again, Abner Mares and Santa Cruz, this was a precursor to a rematch that's supposed to happen in February or March 2018. Let me see. You saw all you guys saw at least the Cuellar match with Abner Mares in his first outing with Robert Garcia as his trainer.
Yeah.
2K might have been the only one to watch the Santa Cruz fight or part of it other than me, I'm guessing. Just based on that assumption, is there anything you see different stylistically from either of the two that makes it seem like it'll be a different outcome in their rematch to come in 2018? I guess I'll start off with 2K since he did see some of Santa Cruz's fight.
The only thing I see differently is that Abner Mares has reinvigorated himself since that loss. His win over Jesus Cuellar, he looked really good. He looked like a reborn Abner Mares. He looks like he's got his head in the right direction. So that's the only reason why the rematch is somewhat intriguing. The first fight, I believe Santa Cruz won by majority decision, if I'm not mistaken. So, and there was some cats out there that thought Mares won that fight. Me personally, I thought Santa Cruz won it rather handily. But that's the only reason why this rematch would be intriguing is just Abner Mares he looked really good against a Cuellar that a lot of people thought he was going to lose to. So now we're like, okay, well, let's give him Leo Santa Cruz again, see what he could do there. It's the only reason why we give a fuck about that fight. But to be honest with you, that's not who I want to see Santa Cruz fight next. So,
agreed. There's a lot of champions avoiding each other at 126 for one reason or another. Shit definitely needs to come to a halt. They're all signed with under Heyman, but they say they can't get a big fighter threatening to move up to 130. None of that shit makes sense to me. But we'll go ahead and go and start our review of the other card, Mayhem at 154. That was last night. We'll start off with the first fight of the card, which was the veteran Austin Trout taking on the young champion, IBF champion, and Jarrett Swift Hurd. Fight was stopped in at the end of the 10th round, I believe, by Trout's corner.
No, by the doctor. The doctor.
I think that was Trout's corner that actually.
I heard it was the corner. I heard it was the corner.
No, the corner actually was going to. The corner was calling for the stoppage, and the doctor jumped in and told the ref, okay, just end it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No. It was the doctor that actually told the ref to end it, but the corner had already said they would stop it.
Yeah. So normally we let 2K break these things down because he's breaker 19, so I'm gonna let him do his thing, man.
So I'm pissed, man. Austin Trout did everything I expected him to do. I said before the fight in my prediction video, I stated that Austin Trout would have to become the boxer that he used to be, the one that defeated Delvin Rodriguez and Miguel Cotto, and also the one that was robbed against Canelo, right? And I felt I saw that for at least the first 7 rounds of the fight. Or let me say the first 6. He was staying on the outside. He was using a lot of movement. He was jabbing. One thing I said that he should do, Jarrett Hurd has slow hand speed. He also has slow footwork, right? He kind of lumbers. If Jarrett Hurd wants to try to fight him from the outside and use that jab like he did against Jojo Dan, I want Austin Trout to slip that jab, pivot to his right, and counter him. And I've seen Austin Trout do that a lot in this fight. He was actually doing it when Hurd wasn't even jabbing. Hurd was trying to get in position to throw something, and Austin Trout would pivot. I thought he was killing Hurd. It was evident early in the fight that Austin Trout would have to keep up this pace. Jarrett Hurd is literally Antonio Margarito 2.0. You know what I'm saying? Minus the loaded hand wraps, real talk. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's literally a punching bag that is going to keep coming forward and tire you and break you down until you personally are like, God damn, I'm tired of hitting this motherfucker. And that's really what happened in this fight. Austin Trout literally TKO'd himself simply because he didn't have the legs, and that could be attributed to the fact that he was out for 1 year and 5 months, right? He didn't have the legs. He didn't have the stamina. He wasn't able to keep up the same pace. It also could be the fact that he's 32 years old. Maybe he's on the decline, which is something that I think before the fight, and I said before the fight, is actually something that's a fact. He's definitely on the decline. I also believe that the Erislandy Lara fight took a lot out of Austin Trout. You know, he's become a different guy. He's become a guy that sits in the pocket too long. And you could tell that, I think it was around round 7 is when he started sitting in that pocket. And that's when fucking Jared Hurd started teeing off on him, started landing some nice-ass straight right hands on him. Trout, it was so slow too, guys. Like, the straight right hand from Hurd was slow as molasses, B. But Austin Trout was so fatigued that he couldn't even get his hands up to defend it. He couldn't even pivot to get away from it at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? And it was the fact that he had to keep up that high-ass work rate to try to keep a guy like Jared Hurd off of him. So, I don't know, man, but what really pissed me off was, bro, you got 6 minutes. You got 6 minutes. And I would like to direct y'all to a fight that happened a few months back between David Haye and Tony Bellew, right? Mm-hmm. David Haye is a guy that tore his motherfucking his Achilles early in the fight. It was like round 5 or some shit, right? I believe that fight was eventually stopped in the 10th round, if I'm not mistaken, around the same time this fight was stopped, right?
I thought it was 11th.
11th round, okay. So he went a good 5 rounds with a torn Achilles tendon, right? And I can't stand David Haye, but I had to give him the credit, you know what I'm saying, of not wanting to lose this fight without going out on his shield. That's one thing that he did. And this is with a torn Achilles. Niggas hobbling around the ring, B. Austin Trout, you had 6 fucking minutes, dog. 6. You know, my thing is this. When you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, proceed, dog. You should have the desire and the want to finish when you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? I understand your legs were gone. I mean, in round 7, the nigga threw a jab and stumbled all over the fucking ring after he threw the jab and missed. And this was off of a jab. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand, dog, this was your last chance. You were coming off a loss against Charlo. You had already got embarrassed by Erislandy Lara. Whether or not, you know, people thought it was a robbery against Canelo, the fact is, officially, it was a loss. You've lost pretty much all of your big fights except Miguel Cotto. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, your team didn't do a very good job of getting your name out there and promoting you properly after you beat Miguel Cotto. You should have been that nigga. You know what I'm saying? The fight with Canelo should have been held in Las Vegas where it was supposed to be held. There shouldn't have been a last-minute change to make it in the Alamo Dome of San Antonio. There shouldn't have been a last-minute change. You beat Miguel Cotto. You see what I'm saying? But nevertheless, we're here now. And you should have been like, dog, this is my last hurrah. I got to do this. When you were sitting in that corner, I got to go back out there, right? I was looking at his trainer, and this is where I was telling my wife, I was like, man, his trainer's going to have to dig in his motherfucking ass. No homo. He's going to have to dig in it. Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Head first, dig in his ass. And his trainer's sitting there all calm. Well, you know, we got to go back. Get the fuck out of here, man. You need to be like Teddy Atlas. You need to be Teddy Atlas and when he was training Michael Moore. You need to be like Virgil Hunter when he was training Andre Ward.
Emmanuel Stewart, like when he told Lennox Lewis, get Tyson out of there. Slap him on his motherfucking chest. Exactly. Word up. You gotta give your fighter the motivation to want to continue, dog. You can't be calm. And Austin Trout is just sitting there, you know, like, yeah, you know, I can't, there's nothing I could do. 2 things. Shout out to my man Sess. He mentioned this. They were using the ice pack instead of the N-swell to get the swelling down.
I seen someone else say,
you know, I saw that shit. Y'all like, what the fuck is that they putting on his eye?
Right. That's 1. 2, they weren't massaging his legs in between the rounds. Austin Trout's legs were stiff as fuck. That's why he was stumbling all over the place. Massage his fucking legs.
Let me get you to answer this. I noticed that Barry Hunter wasn't in his corner for this fight.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up too.
Wow.
Austin, he normally splits camp between his trainer in New Mexico and DC with headhunters, or headbangers. So let me get your take. Do you think that played a difference as well?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It played a major difference because Barry Hunter would have been that guy that would have been doing what his head trainer was not doing.
You know what I'm saying? He would have been doing what I'm saying Austin Trout needed once he went back to the corner to start the 11th round. He would have done that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, man, you know, his corner was like, we're waving the fight off. They said it like 4 fucking times. And Austin Trout did not argue, which told me he doesn't have the heart or the desire to do this anymore, which in my opinion, I think he should retire just based off of that right there. You know what I'm saying? You had 6 minutes, dog. You could have, and it was a fight that you were arguably fucking winning. I had Austin Trout winning 7 rounds to 3 after that 10th round. You know, Jarrett Hurd was definitely bringing it on. I had Jarrett Hurd winning the last 2 rounds, right? But there were still 2 rounds left. If Jarrett Hurd on my scorecard would have won the last 2 rounds without a knockdown, he still would have lost the fight, in my opinion. It would have been 7-5 Austin Trout. He would have won by 1 round. So, and I haven't looked at the official judges, but maybe it was the same way. I'm not sure. But the point is, from their perception, Austin Trout had to have been winning that fight, dog. You see what I'm saying? So why are you not giving him the speech of a lifetime, the speech to make your fighter want to get up there and have the fighter's mentality to go out on his shield? This would have been the time to do it, and both guys failed miserably. I think Austin Trout should retire. As for Jarrett Hurd, he's clearly the weakest champion at 154, a punching bag who keeps coming forward. All 3 of the other champions will whoop his motherfucking ass, dog. Easy. Yeah. Easy.
The judges actually had Hurd winning that fight, man.
It doesn't matter. My point is, from the perception of the corner, right? You're going to be like, yeah, we're winning the fight.
Right.
Okay.
I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. So that was it, to me, it doesn't matter what the fuck the judges think. You know, the corner was like, yeah, we're winning the fight. But they didn't do that. They just said, fuck it, we're done. Come on, man.
All right.
Return.
Let me get Bernard's take, because he has an interesting outlook on scoring as well. What was your judging on the card up to the stoppage in round 10? Because I was one of those that kind of thought the tide started turning towards the end of round 6 and really in round 7, even after the cut, the Hurd.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. I agree with 2K. Like when Hurd started landing them hardest shots in the 7th round, and you could tell that Trout's legs was going at it. It's always that was where the fight turned. I kind of want to piggyback on 2K because I disagree with him. I felt that Trout did not want to fight, did not want to quit that fight, but he was too tired. Like I watched that video before we got on, and he didn't want the fight to end. He wanted to go out. He was like, "Yo, no." Then when the referee said, the doctor said no, and the referee called the fight off, you saw Trout put his head down like, nah, I disagree. I felt that he wanted to go out on this shield.
All right. Me and Bo actually was talking about this earlier, so I want to get all of you guys' opinion on this. Okay. Bo, I mean, even headed into the fight, he said that Trout's inactivity, you know, his him not being in the ring in 16 months played a factor. Me personally, I didn't think that was the issue. I thought it was just that pace, like 2K mentioned. So let me get you guys' take on this one. If, let's say, you know, he had a round where he threw like 71, 72 punches, obviously, you know, not characteristic of his style. So let's say he lowered his output to maybe 50, you know, and just worked the angles more. Do you think it's a fight that he could have completed and actually won? Or you think things would have been different? I'll go ahead and get Bo's take on that, and then let everybody else answer as well.
Say that one more time, man. I didn't hear
you. Do you think it was the inactivity, or do you think it was more the pace that led to, you know, the way the fight concluded for Trout? And do you think if he would have actually slowed his, you know, went to a regular methodical pace of like maybe 50 punches a round, which we're used to seeing from him, that he could actually survive, you know, to go the full distance and actually pulled out a decision?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think it's inactivity. I think it was the pace, and I think it was also the corner, because Barry Hunter would have told him, okay, you know, slow down a little bit, keep the jab on it, keep giving him some movement, and just keep stuff in his face. This kid ain't coming at you with nothing hard, so just slow down and keep your movement. And I think Barry Hunter would have had him more under control if he was in this corner. The corner that he had really gave him no fucking advice, in my opinion, to help him at all, period, in this fight. Trout was in there on his own. in my honest opinion, in this fight. And he was just kind of just, I guess, I ain't gonna say on autopilot, but doing what he thought he needed to do. I think the inactivity also hurt him because he fought it. He tried to fight at that pace, and because you're 32 years old, you've been in a lot of wars, and you ain't been in the ring in 18 months. I don't care how much training you do in a fight; it's totally different, right? Then on top of that, it's it was that pace, man. He just wasn't in the first 5 rounds. You can see because I had. Going up into the knockout, I had tried winning the fight myself. Oh, I mean, until they stopped it, I had tried winning the fight myself also. Right. But I could definitely tell you the tide turned in the 6th round when he got hit toward the end of the 6th round. He barely hit Trout with a fucking jab, and this motherfucker stumbled back like he got hit with a powerful ass right hand.
Yeah.
And I also think when Trout eye swole up, it also did something to him too. I think that took him back to something in his head because he started fighting differently. Versus how Hurd, when he had a cut and start bleeding, he fought differently. But Trout, with that swollen eye, fought a little differently. And it was just, like 2K said, not only was they not rubbing his legs, they wasn't icing his neck. They wasn't shaking his arms to loosen up his – they wasn't doing nothing to help this dude, dog, in the fight.
Yeah, good point.
That's the whole thing. Like, you see some fighters, man, when they come back to the corner. I remember Mickey Ward got knocked down in the fight. And he come back to the corner. His brother made him stand up and jump around and get his legs up underneath him. They didn't do nothing in that fight to try to revive Trout when they saw he was kind of going downhill. So it was just a combination of that fight where you had one fighter that didn't have everything he needed, and then you had another fighter that the only thing he had on his side was his youthful energy. And that's it. That's all he had. And that's what prevailed that day was that right there, the Jarrett Hurd. And I think 2K said it earlier, man. Listen, Jarrett Hurd is an L waiting to fucking happen. He is. Now, I give him credit for being mentally tough where it wasn't going his way. He made very small adjustments. But, I'm looking at this Charlo. I'm even looking at his Auntie Lara. Hell, Julian J. Rock Williams right about now get that ass, man.
Oh, yeah.
Dude is in trouble. I'm telling you. He's an L waiting to happen, man.
I definitely agree with 2K's sentiment about being the Margarito of the division. I mean, the guy's 6'1", and we thought the Charlos were huge at 154. I mean, Hurd is big. Hurd is bigger than both of them. He's 6'1", and even younger. I mean, 22. Yeah. He's only been fighting 5 years, and it's evident. 5 to 7 years, and it's evident. Looking in the ring, he was getting his feet crossed up all the time in that fight. Yeah. And piggybacking off of that, we all think stylistically and skill set wise, all the other champions will beat him. But I mean, do they actually have the power to deter him? Because Tony Harrison, another guy, was pretty lanky and big. Couldn't keep him off of him. That size, man, it just seems to be the thing that wills him through everything. So even those guys, do you think they have the power to deter him?
Carlo does. Carlo has the power. Erislandy Lara has the skill.
Okay. I think Lara has that hidden power when you least expect it. That's when he hits you and he just knocks you down. It's kind of like, and also got the timing as well to do it too. So I can see him with if he gets his legs crossed up or he does something, Lara's gonna take advantage. And trust me, he's touching that canvas.
I don't think anybody at 154 has the power. I will semi-agree with Bo. I think Charlo places his shots very well. If we're talking about Jamal Charlo, yeah, but he's at 160 obviously. Jermell just places his shots. I'm still not sold on Jermell's power. Maybe y'all can call me crazy on that one, but I'm not sold on it. But he places his shots very well. But even in those situations, you got these very resilient type of fighters like Jarrett Hurd, where it doesn't matter. I mean, look at Triple G. You could hit this nigga with a goddamn lead pipe. He's still not going down. And Jarrett Hurd is one of those type of guys, in my opinion. So I think Charlo, while I do believe he beats Jarrett Hurd, like I said, everybody else is going to beat him. It's still going to be a tougher fight for him, in my opinion, because of the relentless style. I think Erislandy Lara mollywops this nigga because he's going to be doing everything Austin Trout was doing for the first 6 rounds, 2 times better without getting tired. You know what I'm saying? So, it's just to answer your question, I don't think anybody would have the power. but the skill level of the rest of these guys. And I did a little bit of research on my prediction video about Jared Hurd. He doesn't have the amateur pedigree. He only had like 48 amateur fights. And, you know, he didn't really take the amateur rank seriously. I think he only had a minute success at the amateur ranks. And literally, when he was fighting there, you know, Cass was just like, well, you know, we don't expect this guy to be anything. So where he's at today is kind of a dream come true.
Yeah, I mean, he started fighting as a team from what I was hearing. So, I mean, for him to be a champion at 22.
Yeah.
And to 2K's point, 2K, you know this, in the amateur ranking, 42 fights in the amateurs, that's like your first 4 fights in the pros. I mean,
absolutely.
You can fight in amateur fights. You can be on your 41st fight and fight a guy who ain't never had one.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. So we'll go ahead and take it on to the next fight of the card, which a lot of us thought should have been the actual main event. It was probably the most looked forward to fight on the card. We had the young gun and Erickson Lubin, the Hammer, making his first title shot appearance and going against the man that's on the high streak right now, and Jermell Charlo. Man, ended in a spectacular first round knockout. So I'm not sure how much we can really take away from it stylistically on this one. So I mean, for this one, I'm gonna let TK pretty much talk about the things that alluded to just the mistakes he, as far as Lubin made that caused that one punch knockout.
Well, I know what I'm getting ready to say. I'm about to take everybody's thoughts because everybody on here has got pretty elite level boxing knowledge. So I'm pretty sure you all seen the same shit that I seen. You know what I'm saying? And Bernard actually tweeted a video of it. But before Bernard tweeted the video of it, I said it on my goddamn recap last night. So the problem here was that Jermell Charlo recognized that Lubin was reacting in a certain way to his jab. And that reaction is that he would dip to the left, he was slipping, and then dip to the left.
Yo, big sister said that shit earlier, motherfucker.
Word up. Oh, I didn't see her say it, but that's kudos to her that she noticed it as well. He would dip to the left, and as he dipped to the left, he would keep his guard down. He wouldn't have his hands up, protecting himself. So what happened was, this happened earlier in the fight, obviously. What happened was that led to the knockout. He threw a double jab, but it was 2 uncommitted jabs. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to do anything with those jabs. And as it happened in real time, I told my wife, I said, this nigga's not even really committed on those jabs. Look at that shit. You see what I'm saying? All he was doing was trying to get Lubin to take the bait so he can get him to dip low like that again. And that's exactly what he did. He had a fucking loaded up straight right hand ready, and it hit Lubin like a homing missile. I mean, it just followed that nigga's dome straight to where he was dipping at. And it was beautiful. It was money landed directly on one of the 3 spots, the fucking chin. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people were saying, man, Lubin got a glass jaw like Amir Khan. That punch wasn't even that hard. Nigga, please. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I would love to see you take a shot just like that, an unexpected shot, right? Because it was unexpected. Lubin didn't expect that shit to happen, right? And he was actually looking down at the canvas.
Yes, he was.
He dipped like that. So not only was he not expecting it, he wasn't even looking at the dude, and he was just doing something that, you know, he has a tendency of doing, and he's never paid for it before. So those are 3 reasons for him not even expecting to get hit by a shot like that. And then it landed on one of the major spots that can get you knocked the fuck out. So I challenge anybody who believes that punch wasn't nothing on it, go take a shot like that under the same circumstances. You won't wake up till next Wednesday, bro. You know what I'm saying? So that's why Erickson Lubin looked like Simon Brown on the mat when Simon Brown got knocked out by Vincent Pettaway. And the motherfucker had that stiff arm effect where his arm was extended directly out in front of him and shit. That's exactly what Erickson Lubin looked like.
Still throwing a jab, still throwing a jab on the ground.
About the movie Dodgeball when I saw him on the canvas. I was like, involuntary spasms.
But this right here goes into what I said, and I'll end it right here earlier. you know, Jermell Charlo, I'm still not sold on his power. I don't think he just really knocks niggas the fuck out.
What about
because he has one punch power. What it is he places his punches very well. Jermell Charlo has shown in 2 fights straight that he has the IQ to be able to see what you're doing at real time, adapt and exploit your mistakes. He's done it in 2 fights already. You see what I'm saying? And when he exploits those mistakes, he's able to get you out of there. So I think that he places his punches very well relative to what his IQ is telling him to do, based on the mistakes that his opponent is making. Not necessarily does he have one punch knockout power. So that's going to play a major key going forward for Jermell Charlo, man. I was highly impressed. Highly impressed.
Right, passing it on, man. Let me get you guys' just take on what happens to Lubin from here with, you know, suffering a knockout like that. A lot of people have compared him to giving him the fate of David Reed already off of that. You know,
I was doing that. I said it's a possibility. I said that.
I said he would lose this fight already, but I thought, you know, I think still in the back of my head, I think he has the talent to be a world champion at 154, but suffering a knockout like that, you kind of got to question it. So let me get you guys just take on what you think of him moving forward. Man, starting off with Bo, is he still, you know, the championship caliber that, you know, a lot of people expected him when he earned, you know, prospect of the year, you know, when Mike Tyson signed him, you know, early, you know, and caused them to not even go to the Olympics. You know, he surpassed going to the Olympics to turn pro because that was the kind of expectation from him. So moving forward, what do you guys think?
I said this on the show. I'm going to say it here. Him not going to Olympics at 18, we saw tonight that experience is what was lacking. That's the reason why what happened to him tonight happened, because he was lacking that experience. When you go to the Olympics, that you're fighting the best from all around the world, you get a different set of experience, you get a different set of knowledge that you intake, and he didn't do that, and it hurt him here tonight. Because in the Olympics, I guarantee you somebody would have tapped that ass one time when he did that dip like that, and he didn't know, okay, I can't do this shit. So, but can he still be? Yeah, of course. Listen, of course he can. You know, he just, it's a learning experience. I mean, that's boxing. You're gonna get hit with a punch, because we never really got a chance to assess what he would be at this level, because he got knocked out so early. Because he made an amateur mistake, and like 2K said, Charlo has shown us that if you he's very good at exploiting your mistakes and making you pay, and that's what's making him dangerous. Is he's making you pay for these mistakes, and you're paying a heavy price. So, all in all, man, I mean, Lubin is still, you know, he still has a lot to offer. It's a learning experience, and now he knows next time what to do. And you know, I will say this: I heard he was sparring with Daniel Jacobs to prepare him for Jermall Charlo, and that was the wrong move, because Daniel Jacobs don't fight nowhere near like Jermall at all, period. And if that was the case, then that would fuck him up from Jump Street. And on top of that, I said this also, when they asked him about Charlo, his words was, well, you know, I haven't watched that much tape on the guy. I don't really worry about that. I just, you know, react to what I see. And I said then, this motherfucker is not doing what he's supposed to do as a guy challenging for a belt. You are supposed to watch film on a fucking champion to know what the hell you're looking at, because you've never been at that level before. Somebody said it, and I think it was my man 2K. There's levels to this, and we just saw that Lubin wasn't ready, but he can still be a force. Just, you know, go back to the drawing board, get some more training behind you, man, and you know, chop this up as a learning experience, man, and see what happens next.
You know what, Bo? That you just made a very good point. I didn't know Lubin said that prior to the fight, and actually, if I would have known that, I might have changed my prediction just because of that. Because you're absolutely right. At the level Lubin had been fighting at, which was a bunch of C and D level fighters, you can't sit there and say, nigga, I don't watch film. You know, you're literally making a ridiculous jump from fighting C level competition to fighting the elite in the division. Normally, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna fight the contenders first, then you'll jump to the elite if you could beat those guys, right?
Right.
So, when you're doing that ridiculous jump, Not too many people in boxing history were successful in doing so. There are, but not too many, right? You have to watch film. You got to know who you're going in the ring with. And if you're sitting there like, nah, nigga, you know what I'm saying? I just adapt to the shit I see, my nigga. Nah, bro. I didn't know he said that.
There was an interview where he was, I think it was like, what was it, barbershop conversation, something like that. He said that.
Wow.
All right, we got Big Cool on the line. Let me see if I could get him to chime in on this. Big Cool, you there?
Yep.
All right, Big Cool. Let me get your takes on this as far as taking away from Charlo. I mean, there's a lot of talk from him after the fight, and it's looking like he's aiming to go at the herd. They both said they would be willing to fight each other next. What did you take away actually from Charlo in this fight? Do you think we've seen the complete Charlo, or as far as him, you know, him meshing his styles with Derrick James and Ronnie Shields? Have we seen that yet, or there's still, you know, a peak that we can expect?
I still want to see him do it against a guy that's closer to his level. You know what I'm saying? The skill set. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know as skilled as Lubin is, he just wasn't ready. 18 fights, 22 years old, with the limited amateur experience I believe he had or whatever. I just don't think he was not limited amateur experience, but the limited, you know, quality of pro competition, you know, that he faced in 18 fights. He just wasn't ready, you know what I'm saying? And I like to see Jermell do that against, you know, not say knock out a guy, you know what I'm saying, but apply that, you know, what he learned from Derrick James against a guy like, you know, Lara or Andre, somebody of that, you know, type of skill set and quality fighter before, you know, I just say that, you know, he's really, you know, that type of guy, but he's a tremendous fighter, man. He's accurate. The right hand is his money punch, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, if he do it against an upper echelon guy at 154, I'd definitely be sold on him. But like I said, he the truth, man. And he did what he should have done, man. Honestly, when you think about it, retrospect, he should have destroyed Lubin, because Lubin, you know, proved by doing the mistake he did with the dip that he shouldn't have been in the ring with Charlo. We all said it when this fight was first announced, or that we got wind that it was in you know, in the works, that 18 fights against a guy who's fought a lot of quality fighters, man, it's just it's too much to for him to, you know, try to take in one fight. And he, you know, not watching film on a guy that's supremely skilled, supremely confident, and, you know, is getting better and better with each fight. That was a great mistake that he made, and he paid for it. But, you know, lucky for him, he still got youth on his side, you know, and eventually those guys will be leaving the junior middleweight division, you know what I'm saying? I don't think they have too much more time, you know, at 154. You know, Lara getting up there in age. Andre is, already at 160. Jermell got a few more fights there. So, I mean, I think he can grow and be well equipped for the guys that come from 147 up to 154 when time is right. But, you know, I like to see him bounce back with a fight against Tony Harrison or somebody like that. Yeah. I think that's a good fight for him, you know, because Tony Harrison has proved to be, you know, I guess a B-level fighter, and that's somebody that, you know, Lubin should definitely, you know, consider taking, you know, on, and maybe not his first fight back, second fight, just to kind of, you know, try to prove yourself and get yourself back in contention, because he definitely looked bad last night, man, doing that shit, because he did it against the guy, what was the guy name? He did it fight before the Ernest fight.
Yeah.
He did it against him. Mm-hmm. He just didn't dip forward. He just, you know, squatted down and came up with the, you know, spectacular knockdown and knockout. And I guess he thought he was fighting that guy when he did that shit. And he woke up to, you know, realized that, no, man, he was fighting Jermell. But like I said, Jermell is definitely the goods, man. I just want to see him put that together against an upper echelon guy.
Bo, let me swing it to you about this one. You have a lot of contact with, you know, some of the Cuban cats, you know what I'm saying, and their teams.
No, man, don't.
No, I don't want to go into. I don't even want to go into the Erislandy fight. I just want to say, what kind of possibilities of having the unification for real with Lara in 2018? Is it all talk? Because he's saying he's willing to fight Charlo. Business is business, but you know we hear a lot of shit come from him and Louis the Cubas. So, I mean, what's the reality of Lara going after unification in 2018 against one of these guys that put on, spectacular performances last night?
Lara's willing to fight anybody but Demetrius Andre right now.
That's fucked up.
That's the truth.
Hold on.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
So he talked all that shit.
That's the truth.
Oh man.
I mean, Lara, he wants a unification and all of that, but for some reason, I don't know why, I don't know what's going on, man. He keeps Demetrius Andre name in his mouth, but the motherfucker don't make a fight with him.
Yeah, I hope is giving up for that one. I think Andre sold the soul to the 160 division right now. Was signing with
wait a minute, and the motherfucker had the nerve to tweet him about fighting him when he did the shit too.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll keep our eye open. The 154 division is the men are starting to separate themselves from the boys this year, which is a good thing. We got the next class of the guys like the J Rocks and the Tony Harrisons and all that. So I mean, they're jockeying to get back in championship contention. Of course, the guys for 147 that could be moving up in a couple years. We know Errol Spence already has aspirations of moving to 154 after he handles business at 147. So,
hey, let me say something before. I think it's still, when it's all said and done for this era, I think this era of junior middleweight is gonna be gonna leave a lot to be desired, man. 'Cause, I mean, I hear what you're saying with the men starting to show who they are, but Andre haven't mixed it up with, either of those guys. And yeah, we got Jamal and J-Rock, but still, I mean, there's going to be a lot left to be desired when we look back 5 years from now and what could have been with these top fights. So, yeah, it's good that they starting to fight each other, but it ain't going to be what it could have been and should have been.
Definitely agree. Andre should have been in a high magnitude fight. For whatever reason, it hasn't happened. It's all what it is, man. But we'll go ahead and get into our next topic. I don't really want to go into the Erislandy fight. It wasn't much really to talk about there. It was pretty uneventful. Our next topic will be we'll talk about Keith Thurman's interview last night, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I'm ready now.
You know what? He actually did a series of interviews with Errol Spence over the weekend, the last couple of days, and they all pretty much murmured the same shit. Anything that stood out to you guys in these talks? I guess I want to start off with Bernard and let him give a chance to chime in. Anything that you took away from the interviews over the past weekend between him and Errol Spence, especially the one last night live on the air?
He's at peace. Okay. We was talking about it with the cats in Eastwick. Shout out to Willie the Kid. Shout out to Chris Walker. Man, there's so many perspectives. I've looked at this. I'm gonna come from this perspective because I know everybody. Some people gonna say he's ducking. I'm going to sit here and say this. Keith Thurman is smart. He may be playing a nut role. If y'all all remember when Floyd was getting ready to retire, get rid of the belts, he was going to drop the WBA belt and have Spence and Thurman fight for that belt. And remember, Thurman said, hey, if I'm going to fight for that belt, I'll fight Spence for that belt, it's going to be for $10 million. Now, let's fast forward in time. Thurman is the unified welterweight champion. He hosts the WBC as well as the WBA. With both of those belts, he's the king right now in the welterweight division. Spence is the up-and-coming champion. I think Thurman is purposely doing this to stretch it out as long as he could because he knows in his eyesight, Spence is still technically high risk, low reward. Let Spence get on a roll to the point where his name gets up there. He start going through people. He get a couple other top names. Then they'll both meet up, and it'll be like a high risk, high reward fight, and he'll get a high payday should he take an L. Now, I think that's what I'm saying. What I'm basically saying is Thurman is looking at it from a business point of view. Because if you notice his interview on Fight Hype, he said, I posted the picture in the Movement. He's going to come back for a fight in 2018, like a comeback fight to test his arm and everything and such. Then he's going to lead into a rematch with either Sean Porter or Danny Garcia.
Unnecessary for Danny Garcia.
No, yeah, I totally agree. That's what he said. He was just saying that in his video. Then possibly in 2019 he'll fight Thurman. But throughout that whole interview, the only time Spence's name was ever mentioned was through the interviewer and not Thurman. So I think Thurman is purposely doing this just to get the buzz going, because just as we wanted to see Canelo and Triple G happen, this is the fight we want to see in the welterweight division. It's just that we're not going to get it now. I think he's going to just keep doing it, and then by, I say, 2019, I won't say late 2019, or maybe early at 2020, we're going to see that fight.
All right, let me pass it on to Bo. Let me get your thoughts on last night's interview from Keith Thurman. I mean, he continues to shy away from the talks, and Bernard thinks he's playing a role. Let me get your thoughts on that, man.
Keith Thurman, I got I'm not scared to go, let it go. The Paulie Maliarty don't duck me, son. The cat that was chasing down Floyd like a madman. The cat that was talking about Manny Pacquiao. The cat that was even talking about 154 Canelo Alvarez. He has went from being the hunter to being the motherfucking hunted. And he sees the beast that's hunting his ass, and he realized it's a beast that he never hunted himself when he was trying to get a motherfucker out there, and he knows what's coming at him. Look, I just feel like Keith Thurman is whatever side of him, man, because I hate to even bring this up, but he didn't went from being Keith Thurman, the brother, to Keith Thurman. I don't know who the fuck this nigga is now, because him sitting there saying, when you publicly admit, and I as somebody who is a competitor, when you publicly admit to the motherfucker that's coming at you, and you look him in your face and you go, well, I'm not as hungry as him. That's some shit I don't want to fucking hear you say as a fighter.
He's complacent now.
Huh?
He's complacent. Once you say that, he's complacent.
He's complacent. He sat there, he said, I'm not as hungry as him because I've accomplished some things. What the fuck have you think you've accomplished to where another guy with a belt, this ain't a challenger now, this is a dude with a belt, and you're telling another cat with a belt that I'm not as hungry as he is because, I'm at peace. The fuck peace got to do with a motherfucker want to whoop your ass? That's
the Danny Garcia shit, cuz.
That's some shit. That's some shit that I don't want to hear from Keith Thurman. So for all Keith Thurman fans out there, I want to make it clear to you guys. When you do bullshit and you say bullshit, you get criticized on this show. That shit I heard from Keith Thurman and what I've been hearing the last couple of days is straight bullshit. The motherfucker that had an 0-1 scared to let it go, the motherfucker that say, I done whoop 3 daddy boys' asses, 2 daddy boys' ass, I'll whoop 1 more. That motherfucker's not the nigga I saw sitting at the table looking across at another nigga looking at him like he lunch.
Yep.
Errol Spence looking at this nigga like, motherfucker, you food.
He was hungry.
And you gonna tell him I'm not as hungry as he is, but I can get hungry. What the fuck you mean you can get hungry? You either hungry or you're not. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. What has happened is Keith Thurman has went from being the hunter to the hunted, and he's looking at the animal that's coming at him, and he realizes this is a different stage of shit that I gotta fucking deal with. And he's just buying his time. I don't think he's scared, but I agree with my partner. He wants to get paid for that ass whooping. That's all that shit.
Yeah.
And now he see how Floyd felt, you know what I'm saying? It ain't easy being the most wanted guy, you know what I'm saying? But, I don't think he ready to step up to that plate, man. You can't say shit like that. You 27, 28 years old, you ain't accomplished nothing. Just because you got 2 titles don't mean shit, you know what I'm saying? You got a long career ahead of you. Mm-hmm. I mean, just because Errol Spence the favorite to beat you don't mean he will, you know what I'm saying? That's why the fights are fought in the ring. And for him to be psyching himself out, or maybe he just pulling one over on us, I don't like to hear that at all. I'm with Bo. You should never, ever, ever let that come out your mouth in front of a recorder, a reporter, anybody that can record this shit and play it back to you, because that make you look like a coward. It make Errol Spence even more confident than he already is. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, man. I mean, if you want to,
but Big Cool though, Big Cool.
I'm gonna come after y'all. After y'all get done, I'm gonna come after y'all.
He could have said that shit to a reporter. My problem is you're sitting in front of this motherfucker and you saying that shit. You don't do that shit. You don't do as a fighter. When Cool pull up openly admitted in front of Joshua, I got a little bit of fear. That shit you don't do. When I heard that, I went, get this nigga out of here. I don't want to see him in the ring now. Get him the fuck out of here saying that shit. You don't admit that shit to another motherfucker that's coming for your ass.
Yeah, man. You know this 2017. These cats different, man. They weird, and I don't know what he be on in his downtime from boxing, but whatever the motherfucker be on, it's fucking with his mental. Because to say that shit in front of a guy that can easily, break you like that is crazy. But I mean, hopefully he get paid well and we get the fight sooner than later. But I mean, everybody trying to do, take the Floyd Mayweather route. And I mean, it's in high demand, but we're not gonna wait that long for the fight to be made, man. Because eventually, there's always somebody that comes up that surpasses you. And I mean, you got to strike while the iron is hot, man. So he need to get whatever money he feel he deserves and make the fight happen, because time is ticking for everybody in the fight game. That's why Errol Spence is already always saying, I'm ready to fight. I'm willing to fight. I don't want to, sit on the shelf for long periods at a time. So, man, make that fight happen next year, not 2019.
All right, Bernard, you said you had something to come back to. Go ahead.
I said he's gotten complacent. That sounds like a complacent statement, but look, I'm going to piggyback what I said earlier. Thurman ain't stupid. You looking across a person that you possibly know you're going to have to fight eventually in the future. Now, he could be playing mind games. I know that's something I do agree with Bo and Big Cool. That's something you don't say. But let's be honest, I don't think Thurman is stupid. I really think sometimes he's really playing a nut role. I think he's doing it just to build the fight up. But even as I sit back, sometimes you gotta, as you call it, set mental traps. Boxing is human chess. Is what we call it. When you get in the ring with a person, you gotta think 5 steps ahead of that person. That includes offense as well as defense. But even then, you still gotta think steps ahead before that, because you sitting there looking at a person. He's looking at you like, yo, I want that belt. I want you in that ring and everything. So he got to say certain things just to try to throw people off, even try to throw him off, make him think like, yo, if I get him to the point where he's thinking he's real comfortable coming in that ring when they do fight, and he's like, oh, you think it's going to be a breeze? Thurman may shock the world and get Spence out. That's hypothetically speaking. That does not mean that's what I say is going to happen. But you could trick a person doing that. Make like, oh, Spence was like, Dad, Thurman scared of me? It's like that. Thurman is trying to do. It's just that I look at certain things in a different manner, and that's why when I say come up with these different perspectives, people are like, wait, what are you talking about? You have to look at it from a different point of view, and or he's trying to psych out Spence. And if I know Spence should be able to pick up on it. And like I said, hopefully he do get the fight soon.
I think Keith be honest with what he say. Maybe he not hungry. I think he hungry. He just not hungry to fight Errol Spence. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? I think Keith is an honest guy when he speaks. He's smart, but I don't take him as one of those media savvy guys that, that he's tricking the world. I mean, we all see that this matchup doesn't, bode well for him. Doesn't matter how you cut it, how big of a Keith Thurman fan you are. I mean, the chances of him defeating Errol Spence gets, they decrease by each month, each day, because he's gonna get older. Spence gonna get better. So I mean, when it comes to Spence, I think he really don't want that work.
I just think of all the potential hangups, especially with what we've seen from Keith, man. I mean, he's been pretty injury prone the last 3 years, I say, probably since about maybe 2015. I mean, so I don't know, man. It's a possibility that I'm starting to think it might not happen, man. With all this, I want to fight Danny Garcia in a rematch. When that name's mentioned, I'm like, there's no need for that rematch. I can understand the Porter rematch because that fight was really close. I actually thought it won. But if it's anybody rematching outside of that, a DSG rematch, it's unwarranted, man.
It's a duck, man.
So let me get your opinion, man. Is the mental warfare already won on Spence's side?
Absolutely. 100%. You know, the mental warfare was won on Spence's side all the way back when Floyd Mayweather wanted those two to fight for one of his titles that he was getting ready to vacate after he retired when he beat Andre Berto. So at that point in time, Keith Thurman was backtracking. It was already won there. You know what I'm saying? So all this shit that's going on with Keith, this is nothing new. He's been not wanting that work from Errol Spence. And to be honest with you, what it really is this. Y'all remember way back when there was a guy, light-skinned nigga with a ponytail that walked into Paulie Malignaggi's press conference, I think it was, and he was saying, "Don't duck me, son. Don't duck me, son." Y'all remember that shit, right?
No, it was the other way around. It was his press conference.
Okay.
He won the fight, and he couldn't even enjoy it. Paulie called him out on the shit. You couldn't even enjoy your own win.
Okay, there we go. Either way, it doesn't matter. Point is, y'all remember that, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So back then, he was being that guy because he knew he needed the right names on his resume to get to where he wanted to be, and that was to be a champion that can contend or fight or be in line to fight Floyd Mayweather, right? At this point in time, he feels that he's already accomplished that, even though he didn't get the Mayweather fight. So what is he going to do? He's going to hold everybody else to the standard that he was held at when he was trying to be that guy. You see what I'm saying? And even though Errol Spence has already beaten a legitimate title holder and become a champion himself, he's still going to try to hold him to that standard because he felt he's done more. Case in point, what Jezreel said. Sorry, my bad, Jezreel. I mean, say your real name. Big Cool. Case in point, what he said. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's acting as if he's done, you know, more than what he really has. That's why he's doing that. You see what I'm saying? It's like, well, you know, from his perspective, nigga, I done this, I done that. I beat this guy. You just beat one guy. So why do I got to fight you? I think it's more of that than him being afraid. And of course, fear does play into that because, again, I can't remember who else said. I think it was Bo that mentioned the Mayweather effect. Can't remember. But it plays into that effect where if you lose, you got to climb back. You got to go back to the drawing board and climb back up the ladder again, which is not necessarily true, especially when you're already at this particular level. Motherfuckers don't just write you off 100% and you're done if you take an L. It's not how it really works, but that's how they see it. You see what I'm saying? So that particular fear of having to do that again, you know, that plays into why he's trying to give Errol Spence his back and be like, nigga, go do something else before we fight. But at the end of the day, I think that's what he's really doing. So, I mean, but it's still ducking. No matter how you put it, it's still ducking.
It took a lot of a haggle to get the Porter fight done, money. I'm just hoping that isn't an issue when it comes time for this fight, trying to stretch out them Triple G and Canelo type of dollars because it's not there. I think that's something a lot of these cats need to get in mind, man. There ain't superstars like Floyd and Manny. I mean, it's rare, it's far and in between, you know. And for them to be expecting that, even in the case of like Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, I mean, I just think that their names are what they are, man. And this whole building a fight thing is gotten out of hand, man, because it's not necessary with a lot of these cats. Just face it, like the superstars are just not there like it was with Manny and Floyd, man. And you know, it usually involves something else. Now, you know, you see Canelo, he has a huge Hispanic following. Triple G has a huge following, not even the same kind of following, but you know, he's been popular based off of, you know, a lot of racial stuff. So I mean, I just hope that this fight isn't deterred by that kind of expectation from, you know, Keith Thurman, because I know Errol Spence, he's not what he said it last night. I don't worry about the purse. I just want to fight you. You know what I'm saying? That shit's gonna take care of itself.
Yeah.
You know, we've seen it get in the way of some of Keith's fights. You know, it was a lot of hassle to get the Porter fight done. Danny as well, but I think he was a lot more confident as far as how that fight would turn out, which is why it didn't take as long to set, you know, for unification as well. So, I mean, we'll go ahead and go into our next topic off of that, though. Looks like our next topic of the night will be shit. We got the Deontay Wilder card, or the fight with Bermane Stiverne coming up in a couple weeks. It was just revealed in an article yesterday that it's still not finalized with 2 weeks left to go. I'll let Bo go ahead and touch on this one. He had a little bit more information about this one as far as what's going on. It's looking like there's been some kind of it's been a communication gap, and I don't understand this, man. Stiverne, I don't understand, man. He stands in his own way a lot of times, so I'll let Bo touch on this one though.
Well, remember back when supposedly they had a step-aside agreement for him to step aside to let Wilder fight the first time. Don King had apparently had an agreement with Heyman. And what Stiverne did immediately was he went out and he hired Jay Prince and the other cat who used to be with Andre Ward. And they came in saying, no, King can't do this and do this and do this and do that. And then he later on only turned around and took the step aside anyway. So now you have a situation where they like, okay, now he's in line for the fight, but it's a situation where you have his managers and his advisors and the promoter, them motherfuckers ain't talking to each other. That's all it is. There's a serious breakdown in communication in Stiverne's camp that instead of preparing himself for the fight, he dealing with this shit. And I mean, like you said, you know, he's getting Stiverne is getting in his own way. I still say, man, I wish Wilder would have took care of this fucking problem a long goddamn time ago. Back when they ordered it, just go on and get this dude. We don't want to see it. Yeah, we get it. But go and get this motherfucker out of here. Because, again, this shit with these two motherfuckers not talking to each other or not relaying information, I mean, it always seemed to be, listen, I like Jay Prince. He gets shit done. But always seems to be some shit surrounding him. And even Don King. As of late, it always seems to be some shit surrounding him. But for some reason, the odd man out in this is Stiverne, because whatever's going on with his promoter and his advisory team, it's affecting this motherfucker as a fighter from whatever the fuck that he trying to do next. So that's a breakdown in communication, and that's actually up to Stiverne to tell both of these two motherfuckers to get on fucking, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, man, you motherfucker get on the team, because Don King could be pissed off like, yo, I had you step aside earlier. You went out and got these motherfuckers and brought them in, fuck shit up, only to take step aside afterwards. So why the fuck should I talk to them? So, you know, he got to get that shit in order, man. He got to do that about his business, man.
It's nothing with PBC or Wilder, which, I mean, it usually ends up being the blame that way, that it's either Wilder or something Heyman's doing. This is Stiverne's own doing with hiring a separate set of men prior to another title fight. So, I mean, I don't know, man. You guys got any takes on this as far as if this fight actually goes down or not, man? It's already been a hassle with, you know.
Go down. Let that shit go down, man. It don't matter, man. For real. It should have been down. He shouldn't even been mandatory. Yeah.
He should have got rid of him early this year.
Yeah, I mean, they need to get rid of the whole mandatory thing, because it's been the bullshit. Deontay's had to pass, 3 different guys now?
I wish that big Cuban motherfucker would have told Vada that he fucking was diabetic or whatever the fuck he had, and we wouldn't be in this situation.
Hey, check this out. Check this out. So, Miss 2K just sent me a message. She's saying that the deal has been finalized for November 4th. She says she just saw it on Instagram.
Okay,
so,
cool. You're good looking out.
She breaking news then, see?
Looking out.
Yeah, that's Miss 2K right there, man. That wasn't even me.
Maybe she need to replace both.
Well, at least she know how to not make noise on her microphone. I know that shit.
I'm doing it because you talking.
No, motherfucker, you over there unwrapping a Twinkie or some shit. What the fuck is you doing?
Yep.
Motherfucker unwrapping a goddamn Suzy Q. What the fuck is going on over there?
I'm packing up your gift for Christmas, man. Your life alert.
bring it back in, man. So I mean, a couple weeks ago, like a week or so ago on social media, Billy Joe Saunders is pretty much chirping and barking at David Lemieux about something, calling him a pussy. Hey, it's real talk. That Billy Joe Saunders went out of his way to call him that shit. I guess the WBO caught wind of this and said, you know what, we gonna order this shit. And next thing I know, I see a tweet from David Lemieux saying hospital. So, thoughts ordered by the WBO, David Lemieux versus Billy Joe Saunders. I'll start off with 2K.
I'm sorry, my bad. I am off. David Lemieux versus Billy Joe Saunders. Okay. So it's a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. You know what I'm saying? You might get knocked the fuck out. And I hope to God, I'm asking the boxing guys, please let this fight happen.
Amen.
I might turn into a goddamn preacher just for this fight.
Hallelujah.
Word up. You know what I'm saying? I need that belt. I don't give a fuck who gets it at this point, dog. But I need that belt to change hands. I can't have Billy Ho hovering over the WBO title at 160 pounds because he is going to continue to do the same fuckery he's been doing since he won it off Andy Lee.
Preach,
and I knew,
2K, preach.
I knew. Lord, I knew.
Preach! Hallelujah!
Let the church say amen!
Amen!
I knew Billy Ho was going to be that motherfucker. I knew it. You know what I'm saying? I knew, just like I knew Kell Brook was going to be that motherfucker. But just like with Kell Brook, the walls closed in. All right? Same thing's going to happen to Billy Ho. The walls are now closing in. It's getting to the point where it's like, all right, you're going to have to fight somebody now, man. We can't protect you, for the rest of your career. That's what Frank Warren just told him. Hey, man, I'm trying to protect you as much as I can. But damn, man, at some point, you're going to have to fight somebody. You can't pull the wool over everybody's eyes for an eternity. We can't. You see what I'm saying? And that shit is happening, dog. Man, I hope to God. Praise Jesus. Make this fight happen. So this motherfucker could get knocked the fuck out.
Amen.
Real talk.
He's going to get knocked out by Fandango.
Now pass the collection plate so David Lemieux can get some good gear.
Hell yeah. Oh, man.
All right, man. Let me swing it on to the rest of the crew, man. What y'all think of this fight happening? Lemieux, I forgot what the reason was before that Billy Joe even started giving him the excuse saying that he didn't fight him before or whatever. But yeah, he definitely pushed the wrong buttons with David Lemieux, from what I could see, and in the back and forth is looking like Lemieux really wants to hurt this dude. So I mean, what's you guys' take on this disorder by the WBO? I'll pass it on to Bo.
I just hope David Lemieux does better than Willie Monroe, than Willie Monroe did.
Monroe?
Yeah, Willie Monroe did. Look, David Lemieux is the reality is I'm with 2K, man. I am praying to God that David Lemieux does beat him. But the reality is, it's still David Lemieux we're talking about. He's a one-dimensional fighter. Billy Joe's skills could probably offset that. But goddamn, I'm praying to God that he come through with a miracle and knock this motherfucker not just out, but we ain't got to deal with him no more in boxing, man. This dude, like, if it wasn't for Billy Joe, Billy Joe is the only reason why Adonis Chickinson ain't the worst motherfucker holding the belt right now.
Yeah, they 1A and 1B. They tied for that shit.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
am I gonna have to mute somebody tonight?
But hold on, wait a minute though. At least,
yeah, you go ahead.
Hold on, wait a minute though. At least when you look at motherfucking Chickinson, you can see some remnants of a name, of a resume. Like, but Billy Joe, he ain't trying to do shit. He just like he said, he trying to hold on to that belt, talk all that shit, and tell everybody how motherfuckers don't want to fight him because they too busy fighting each other. Like, they might get the winner of Canelo Alvarez and motherfucking Gennady Golovkin. And what's insane is he's with Hearns now, right? Jacobs. But Billy Joe ain't told Hearns, hey man, why don't you give me Jacobs? He part of the crew. No, he ain't said that shit. You know what he said? Absolutely fucking nothing. That's what he said, which is what he does all the time. So wait for motherfuckers to get fights. Then Billy will be talking. He'll be talking about fighting, but he ain't, dude. This motherfucker gotta go. As long as he got that belt, the only way you get this motherfucker to fight somebody, you gotta offer him major fucking money.
Yeah. Yo, hey guys, think about it. Think about it, yo. Think about the joy. The joyous occasion. If what happens to Billy Ho is the same thing what happened to Nigel Benn when he fought Gerald McClellan. Billy Ho knocked out the fucking ring.
Man.
Bro.
I'll be happy with
And they push it back in.
I seen Rodman when he fought that cat. What's his name?
Oleg Moskaev.
Oleg Moskaev.
Twice. Had his back on the motherfucking scores table.
You know what? I'll put it like this.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with a Curtis Stevens repeat personally.
If David Lemieux knocks out Billy Joe, I will go to church the next motherfucking day all day.
I'm with you.
I'll even wear a suit for the.
Y'all gonna blow the mugs up too. Y'all gonna blow them up too.
Put that motherfucker back on the UK circuit, please, man. He should not be on the world stage.
He'll be on the Chitlin circuit.
Hey, y'all saying he's gonna be on his back like Curtis Stevens?
I'm hoping for him.
Me too.
Yeah.
Have him carried out.
He might be like Lubin. He might be like Lubin.
You know what? I think what Billy Ho might do. 2 words. Terry Flanagan. He's gonna pull a Terry Flanagan. I can see this.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Frank Warren. Like, look.
Some mysterious knee problem.
A personal leg injury.
Yep.
All right. So let's move along to our next topic of the night. We're gonna keep it pretty discreet or pretty quick on this one. Vasil Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux, December 9th in New York. It has officially sold out. So let me get you guys' take on this. These are 2 guys that are said to, been complaints that they can sell out a crowd and can do this and do that. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on this selling out 2 months in advance at that. There's still 2 months to build this fight, and it's already sold out. So I'm going to start off with Big Cool here. Big Cool, you there?
Man, my bad. I had myself on mute. My bad. I said real boxing fans just put their money where their mouth is. They always talk about they'll spend the money, they go to see this, they order this, and we get the quality matchup. And obviously, they're telling the truth because this is a great, great fight, man. And if I could go to New York and watch it, I would. But since I can't, I'm going to watch it on TV. But, I mean, it's great that they sold out, the arena for the fight. Both of these guys deserve the recognition, especially Rigondeaux, who has kind of been overlooked or overly criticized because of his fighting style. And honestly, I could care less if it wasn't sold out because as long as they fight, that's the only thing that mattered to us. You know what I'm saying? Is that we got these guys that's going to be fighting December 9th. But props to the true boxing fans who put their money where their mouth is and went and bought those tickets. And they're going to enjoy a fantastic night between these 2, December 9th.
Yep. Let me get a thought on this one, man. It's been out there, not necessarily amongst the true lovers of the sport that appreciate the sweet science, but according to the casuals, Rigo puts up a lot of stinkers and all of this nature. Do you guys see any plausible way that this happens in a fight of this magnitude? I'll start off with 2K and swing it to the rest of y'all.
Well, first of all, I guess Carl Frampton was lying when he said Rigo can't draw a crowd. Motherfucker sold out for December 9th, so we all know he was ducking. But anyway,
yeah,
word up. Go back to your question. No, I don't believe Rigo is going to be the culprit of a stinker if this fight is a stinker. And it's simply because Lomachenko's style, right? The way he's been fighting everybody else, this shouldn't be a stinker. You see what I'm saying? If it's a stinker, it's because Lomachenko would be the guy that's not engaging, and Rigo, basically the fight would be at Rigo's pace. You see what I'm saying? It would be a situation where you got a guy like Joseph Agbeko, who in the past was not aggressive, but he wasn't extremely low volume. I mean, just look at the Vic Darchinyan fight. He beating the shit out that dude. You know what I'm saying? But then when he got in there with Rigo, man, being afraid of getting countered, you know, he couldn't return fire. He just said, fuck it. I ain't going to throw a punch. Rigo has that ability to make niggas not want to fight. You know what I'm saying? And this could definitely happen with Lomachenko. I don't think it will. But there is a definite possibility of that happening. So if it is a stinker, it would just be because Loma's scared to engage.
Okay, good point. Good point. Nevertheless, this is a fight that we're all looking forward to. I mean, this is a history in the making. Double Olympic champs, you know, fighting each other, albeit at a different weight classes or coming from different weight classes. Really shouldn't play a factor. Some people have been saying that, you know, it's possible that Loma wouldn't get the credit for the win just because of how much weight that Rigo's had to come up for this fight. And for those of us that know Rigo, he fights guys pretty much bigger than him in sparring all the time. So, Bo, you got any news as far as how Rigo's camp's going or anything coming out of there?
No, I haven't heard anything from anybody out of there yet.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and.
But I do want to say I think people see a lot of times, and this is what I like this show. A lot of times when people talk boxing, they don't know what they're talking about. When you say about Lomo's size being the bigger man, you have to understand Lomo don't fight like a bigger man. He's still gonna come in there and box with Rigo. It's not like him coming in and lean on him and impose his size. He's gonna come in there and try to use the skills that we saw at 126. So that bigger man theory is not gonna play here. That's why, like a lot of times, see, this is why you have such a disconnect with a lot of casual fans because they don't understand what they're looking at. They're going off of calculations, they're going off of weight, they're going off of muscle,
analytics, and all that shit.
Right, you know what I'm saying? They're going off some shit that somebody else said on another post and coming into your post with that dumb shit instead of the original thought of they fucking own.
Copy and paste.
Yeah, because like I said, that Loma being a bigger man because he has 130 has no bearings on the outcome of this fight because he don't fight like that of a bigger man. He still fights like a boxer.
Good point. All right. So let's go ahead and swing it into our next topic. See what we're looking at right now. It's looking like we have some talks in the work. You know, the Mikey Garcia has been in a lot of talks actually in the news recently. One of them was, of course, Miguel Cotto, which we know it didn't go through because of Golden Boy's demands of wanting a multi-fight contract. Same thing with Errol Spence that just came out today about that offer that Golden Boy was trying to hold him to an exclusive contract for a couple of fights, which is, you know, is common for promoters to ask for options. So I'm not going to say it's a bad business practice or anything like that. But it's looking like now with the Linares fight not going down or Cotto for Mikey Garcia, Robert Easter Jr. is going to play for unification, man. Not sure how soon it's made, but let me get you guys' initial thoughts as far as just the prospects of this fight. I'll go ahead and start off with Big Cool.
I'd like to give props to the former IBF champion because that's what's going to happen if this fight is made. He's going to get knocked the fuck out. I heard 2K say excellent fight. I love Robert Easter Jr. You know what I'm saying? No homo. You know what I'm saying? But the way he fights, the lack of discipline, the lack of focus is going, not against Mikey Garcia. No. I mean, he trying to make it 0-2 for Bandcamp. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, is it like that? Big Bro lost. So hell, Easter lost too already, right? He just trying to make it official. Is that what he's trying to do? You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, he gonna get his ass beat if this fight is made. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that, man. I mean, he got all the skills to beat Mikey, but he don't got the experience. He don't got the discipline. He don't got the focus, and he really don't got the experience. You know, to beat Mikey. I just think that Mikey is going to be too much if the fight happens. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think I will be. So, yeah, I mean, it'll be a good fight because he comes to fight, and he got the height, the reach, you know, the skills, but he lacks the things you really need other than skills to be successful against Mikey.
All right, let me swing it to Bernard.
2K, you might could use this on your show. I'm calling Robert Garcia the trainer of the About Billions Assassins because he trained Maidana to beat Broner. He trained Mikey Garcia to beat Broner. And since Robert Easter is technically Broner's
little
I don't
brother,
want to say cash cow.
little brother.
I don't know little brother, but his other fighter under his promotion company and probably his second cash cow other than him. He's about to take a L too. So, man, when this fight supposed to be scheduled? Later on this year or next year?
I've been seeing it's possible for December or early January.
Ooh,
New Year loss.
I'm gonna say this because I gotta call him the trainer. Don't be surprised if he gets trainer of the year for giving About Billions 2 L's this year, and one of them include Mikey Garcia taking out two of their fighters. Man, I can only agree with everybody on this panel. I think Robert East is gonna lose if he fights that dumbass fight style that he chooses to do to be in the pocket. I guess you could the Paul Williams style. Don't use your height and reach advantage. Don't utilize your foot, your jab. Don't utilize your reach, your range, and you decide to go in there and fight somebody in the pocket, which is totally dumb. I think he'll do that and he'll lose, and Mikey Garcia will take advantage of it.
Yeah, man. I told you the Cincinnati niggas ain't Ohio niggas ain't shit, man.
I say Mikey Garcia ends it with a body shot though. I don't think he takes him out with a shot to the knee. I think he ends it with a body shot.
I learned my lesson. I ain't giving none of them niggas a chance because I thought Broner would do something, let his hands go. And I ain't saying if a Focus or Focus damn Easter Junior do the same thing because it ain't happening. Ohio niggas ain't shit, man. They don't pay attention.
Focus, all right. Focus on going in the pocket. After what, 3 rounds? I'm going into the pocket, coach.
That nigga mentally weak, man, in that ring in terms of trying to with the game plan. But I don't know. Let 2K break it down. That's what he do best.
I think his IQ.
I'm talking in terms of the focus on the game plan, not like he don't quit or nothing like that. But I'm talking about in terms of
low IQ. He gets mentally lazy. I say low IQ. Just like you start off good, then just something just happens and just like I got to go into the pocket.
All right, and I just want to say I said I wasn't going to bash Golden Boy, but I will. The level of protectionism for Jorge Linares is
man. That shit's out of control. That's out of control, bro. That's
Canelo.
Talking
Canelo,
Cam did, especially Linares for all the talking they done, talking about day one Garcia, and to let some bitch shit from Oscar get in the way of that. He never really wanted to fight. So
what's the reason the fight ain't happening? Because I ain't really been in the loop. I mean, is it a reason why, or are they just not even entertaining?
He tried to get Mikey Garcia to sign a.
He wanted to sign a multi-fight deal, promotional deal. Instead of just
Oscar get down
option to get the fight done, he wanted it to be live, So
he want the Al Heyman touch again. He missed those fights, that money.
Hell yeah. You know what, man? I want y'all to realize something though, because I agree with y'all. Robert Easter. I definitely agree with what Bernard said. Robert Easter cannot give up his height and reach, but y'all gotta understand. If he decides not to do that, this motherfucker has a 5-inch height advantage and an 8-inch reach advantage. That's a tall order for Mikey Garcia to get around, and it actually will turn Mikey Garcia into a one-dimensional fighter
if Robert Easter Jr. decides to stay on the outside. Y'all understand that, right?
Yes,
that means
sir.
Mikey Garcia is going to have to pretty much chase Robert Easter Jr. around the ring and become a guy who only comes forward. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at this matchup, Robert Easter, he has the advantage because he's able to fight from the outside. All he needs to do is stay mentally focused and do that for 12 rounds. Can he do that? That's the question.
Especially, is he ready for this level? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's been gradually stepping it up, but maybe he need the proper reinforcement in his corner.
I mean, one of the things about Easter is
he just need an L.
That output. You know, if he kept his jab out there stiff on that man, I mean, he could technically beat everybody based off of that with his physical intangibles. And, you know, he just doesn't do it. So
doesn't do it.
This baffles me, man. It's just crazy. I just can't understand how a guy that's that tall, you know, for that division, you know, has all those physical advantages, just say, fuck it.
I mean, he's reluctant to let his right hand go in fights now. So, I mean, it's a lot. He leaves a lot desired for me right now. I still like him personally, like you said, has a high upside, but like most of them Ohio cats, they need to break away from that circle and go to some trainers that aren't yes men, you know, and that's going to tell them what they need to actually get better.
2K? Go up there, man. Go up there and get that, make that little bread 2K.
Word up.
All right. So let me see what our next topic is on the agenda tonight. We had quite a few, so it's looking like Miguel Berchelt versus Orlando Salido is actually going to take place on December 9th as well, the same night as Lomachenko versus Rigondeaux. So let me get you guys' thoughts on this fight initially. I thought Berchelt was going to be out for the rest of the year after hurting his hand, but it's looking like he made an early comeback. Salido, he's looking like this might be his last hurrah. Man, TK, does Salido bring anything to the table for Berchelt? I mean, Berchelt's been on a nice tear recently, and Salido has looked a little more faulty, you know, in his last couple fights, you know, with the age and all that and injuries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Orlando Salido brings a lot to the table, actually. Miguel Berchelt is a really good fighter. I mean, he's dispatched of what's my man's name? Damn, I forgot the Mexican dude's name.
Vargas.
Thank you. I was going to say Francisco Garcia, like a motherfucker. Francisco Vargas and Takashi Mayor, who were two of the top 135 pounders before that fight, right? Before when he fought them respectively. So he's done an excellent job. He's pretty much been the Julius Ndongo of 130. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, he's done excellent in the last year. Orlando Salido is going to bring to the table a different dynamic, though. He's going to rough you up. He's going to hit you in the back. He's going to hit you in the ass. He's going to hit you in the dick. He's going to hit you in the hamstring. He's going to hit you in the leg. He's going to hit you wherever he's going to hit you. And he's going to use every part of his body basically to break you down mentally, right? Make you feel like, hey, I can't get around this dude. He's too rough. You know what I'm saying? One thing about Miguel Berchelt, while I think he's a good boxer, he does an excellent job of giving angles. He's not smooth with those angles. You know, a guy who's a good example of being smooth with angles is Vasyl Lomachenko. Now, I'm not expecting Miguel Berchelt to have Vasyl Lomachenko type of angles, you know what I'm saying, or movement. But at the same time, what Berchelt does is he'll give you an angle and he'll kind of stand in the pocket after he gives that angle, looking for another opportunity. The problem with that is a guy like Orlando Salido, he's just going to keep coming forward no matter what, and he's going to keep throwing punches. If you're going to give him angles, you need to move back and allow him to move forward again so you can set him up again from the outside. If you stay in the pocket after you give that angle, you're going to open yourself up for some more roughhouse tactics from Orlando Salido, especially if you're up against the ropes, because he does that shit up against the ropes as well. So it's an intriguing fight. I expect Miguel Berchelt to win, but I will not be surprised if Orlando Salido upsets him.
Okay. Everybody else's take on this one, Bo. What's your thoughts about Salido? Is this his last hurrah, or can we expect to see him go a little bit longer at 130.
You never know with Salido about it being his last hurrah or not, man. Because this is a dude that does not seem like he's slowing down. The one thing that and I agree with 2K. Listen, Berchelt is going to encounter something that he didn't encounter in Vargas, that he didn't encounter in Casamorta, which is this is a guy that number one is going to be relentless. And listen, Orlando Salido isn't some dude that he has good enough boxing skills to where he can give you some problems. And he's just rough and rugged, gonna come at you like you said, gonna hit you everywhere. And he's exceptionally mentally tough. So Berchelt better not think that he gonna wear this dude down. That just don't happen with Orlando Salido. So it's an excellent good fight, man. Because if Berchelt, like you said, he's the Ndongo of 130, man. If he comes out of this, Berchelt come out of this, man. You got to. I already respect what he had done, but you got to really add more respect to him, especially if he stopped Orlando Salido. Yeah. That's just, if he stopped Orlando Salido, man, you got to get that dude mad props. And I just want to, and Berchelt also has made it clear that he would have no problem fighting Lomachenko. They just haven't looked that way yet.
I'll say Oscar hasn't looked that way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. You know what? You're right. And oh yeah, and one more thing I just want to add, man. What Oscar De La Hoya is doing with this signing fights, signing multi-deal fights, that's a Bob Arum thing that he got. That's something that Bob Arum be doing. That's why the Gennady Golovkin Chavez fight and how he want him to sign extension. So for y'all talking about some Errol Spence ducking, first of all, you can't duck a motherfucker that's not in your division. But second of all, if you want to tell me Errol Spence is ducking, then recognize that Miguel Cotto is fucking ducking all of 154. That's why his punk ass is looking at 147 at a goddamn Saddam Ali. Yep. So if you want to tell me one dude is ducking, then you better recognize this other motherfucker is ducking also.
Yep. Excellent segue, Bo, because that was actually your next topic. It is official. Announced yesterday. No date yet, but it's looking like it's either New York or possibly on the West Coast. Errol Spence Jr. making his first title defense against King Pete, Lamont Peterson. That's one I like him. I definitely know Bernard, one of Bernard's favorite fighters as well. They actually had a chance to fight each other for the IBF title eliminator prior to this, and Lamont Peterson turned it down. He actually just vacated his regular WBA belt to take on this fight. So, I mean, kudos for him to stepping up to the plate this time around. And this one, I'll start off with this being your boy.
Oh, shit. I'm actually disappointed.
He should be.
Because he decided to let go of the WBA belt.
Secondary trinket. Yeah.
Hey, man. Yo, real talk. It's lawn chair time, nigga. He about to fold that nigga up, B. Real talk.
Hold on. Mute his mic, man. Mute his mic, man. I ain't trying to hear that bullshit right now. Man, hold on. Let me pull a B, man. Where's 2K? Mute his mic. Hear me out, guys, while I'm disappointed in Lamont Peterson dropping that belt. If Lamont Peterson would have kept that belt and gone, he's gonna go a full 12 rounds with Errol Spence. Errol Spence is gonna get the decision he's gonna win the decision by a split decision. He would have the WBA belt. The WBA, knowing that hey, they like to consolidate belts, this is a big matchup. They could force a consolidation match between Keith Thurman and Spence if Thurman still has the WBA super version of the welterweight belt, whereas Spence will have the regular. So that's why I'm kind of disappointed in that. Don't know why, but hey, Lamont Peterson is doing something that all these other fighters won't do at 147, and that is take on Spence. I don't think he's gonna get folded up like a lawn chair. I don't think he's gonna get knocked out. Oh I have faith in King Pete. That King Pete will go 12 rounds. You hear me?
Yeah, you gonna be crying, bro, because I'm a big King Pete fan. But that motherfucker has no chance.
Hey,
No chance.
Y'all remember the Lucas Matisse fight, and I mean this is gonna be.
Hey, 2 of those knockdowns were real, but one of them he got hit in the arm and tripped over his feet. So I don't consider that a knockdown. Okay.
Well, he gonna get hit in the ribs and fucking not trip over nothing.
No, man, no. I'm not believing that. I got faith in King Pete that he's going 12 rounds. Even if he touches the 12th round, I'm cool. We can say, hey, he's the only fight ever lasted that long.
Are you giving? But are you giving moral victory here?
Yep, already.
Yes, I'm giving him a moral victory.
That's too bad. It ain't gonna be. It's too bad. No.
You know what? Fuck that. Fuck that. I know this is kind of crazy, but shit.
Don't do
Mr.
it.
Fuckery. I'm going with the pick of King Pete beating Lamont Peterson.
Oh shit! That's too much fuckery for me, dog. That's a month worth of fuckery.
You say Mike, dog. They don't have no faith in King Pete, man. Barry Hunter ain't allowing that man to go out like no punk, man. He ain't going
Barry
out
Hunter
like
can't
that
fight for him either. Barry Hunter ain't gonna fight for him either.
Mute big smokes on Mike, man. Mute his mic.
It should be 2 against 1.
You telling me Lamont Peterson passed up a few years ago to fight Errol Spence now to only let him get better to get an even worse ass whooping. He had a better chance to beat him then.
Yep.
Has no chance to beat him now.
Yep.
And he's coming off of another extremely long layoff. I'm telling you, man.
Yep.
Them business school, we can be getting a lot of business because Sean Porter in that bitch, Lamont Peterson in that bitch.
When did Peterson fought and win?
Man, look, he up there in age, man. He got to fight, often to stay fresh. And he getting a fresh ass whooping whenever that fight take place.
What's going on with how these Heyman fighters are and all that such and this and that? Because I'm surprised he didn't even took that long. I don't know why he had to go against Spence. But hey, again, I salute the man for doing it because motherfuckers ain't gonna do it.
No doubt.
I mean, he could have did it. He could have did it a few years ago.
But he didn't. Hey, for whatever reason, he didn't want to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look what happened. But look what happened though. He got himself a title shot. Now, why he had to relinquish the belt, I don't agree with. I think that was kind of dumb. You could have had some kind of unification bout, the regular WBA versus the IBF champion. Both go together.
Maybe the IBO. Maybe they told him he gonna get the IBO or something. He win it.
Hey,
I don't know.
Shout out to the IBO. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
no, man.
The thing is,
I'm gonna mute you now. Talking about mute everybody else. You talking that IBO shit again.
Hey, Boxing News and Views is getting sponsored by the IBO.
Man, y'all better let this nigga 2K talk before he have an egg raised in this bitch. You better let him talk.
I hear that nigga shaking on the phone, man.
He starting to crack eggs.
Yeah, that nigga left finger twitching.
Man, I wasn't gonna say nothing important anyway. I was just gonna say, maybe they should make this fight a WWE handicap match. Put Anthony Peterson and Lamont Peterson in there against fucking Errol Spence. That nigga Spence still win the fight, bro. Both by knockout.
And Anthony Peterson injury prone, bro. He'll sprain his ankle coming to the ring. Man.
Let Anthony Peterson have a chair, then make it a handicap tables, ladders, and chairs match.
Hey,
Errol Spence still win.
Pissing me off right here, dog. You see these eggs right here, man? You see that, man? Cracking these eggs.
Fucking
them eggs got a better chance against Errol Spence than Lamont do.
All I know is, Lamont Peterson gonna borrow Adrian's Daisy Dukes.
Oh yeah, for real. He can't wear those again. Can't do that again, bro.
At least go out looking right, man. Looking decent, man.
What's up with you always pointing out them shorts, Bo?
That motherfucker had on
he got them 80s NBA shorts on,
John Stockton shorts on this shit.
Bro, there's the 1980 shorts.
He can't catch nobody in them shorts, man. You can't do that. You can't. At least go out with some dignity, man.
And them hoes is like bright. They was bright purple and shit too. Yeah, ass color too.
Man. He must have been in camp with Keith Thurman. He found peace to wear them motherfuckers, cuz that shit is not a.
Hey, I can't co-sign that, man. Shit, that was an immoral victory on that. That's a loss.
You cannot rock those, King Pete, because you gonna end up face down, ass up, and nobody.
Ass up.
Hey,
Now nobody will be seeing you knock a look. Look at that girl with the baby do something. So
You got some nigga named Big Bubba come out that audience, nigga. For real.
that nigga gonna transfer from a homeless ass fighter to you know they got that he grow that damn beard and shit. He might as well keep that same look, man, because it don't matter, man. Fresh cut, fresh shorts, he still same result, man. He gonna get his ribs broken.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers eating crow dog. Then watch that fat last long, man. Fuck y'all.
All right, nigga. All right.
So shit, I guess we're gonna take it into our previews for the upcoming bouts coming up this weekend. Starting off with the girl that we all love, Cecilia Braekhus. She got a big one coming up this weekend, defending her title. She is facing forgot who she's facing. But
Somebody she should be facing Michaela Lauren.
Nah, she'll be facing Michaela Lauren this week.
She should kill her. That's easy work. Michaela Lauren, Claire Benson. So that's easy work.
Say that again, TK.
Michaela Lauren lost to Claire Svensson.
Okay, which was one of her previous opponents as well. Okay. Man. So I guess we don't need to go much into the breakdown of this one as far as that. I'm pretty sure we all would agree. Is there any kind of competition we could expect for at welterweight, man, or what we can expect for Cecilia, man? Because she's been on the reign of dominance, and I mean nobody comes close to her right now in the women's game, really. So,
maybe she can fight Errol Spence in the cross gender match or some shit. With some competition.
Cross gender match. Oh shit! Now that's funny. I mean, I don't know, man. Cecilia's just too good, bro. There's really nobody at welterweight. I mean, they got Layla McCarter. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of turned things around. She's a chick that has 13 losses. Won maybe her last 15 fights. She hasn't lost since 2007.
That's he actually signed with TMT, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Yep, she is. You just reminded me. Yeah, she sure is signed with TMT. So
that fight ain't happening.
She could possibly be a threat. You know, just given her success, you know, for the last 10 years. But I still think she's a little bit too short. She doesn't have the reach to touch Cecilia Braekhus. Braekhus is gonna fight her from the outside. She's gonna use slick boxing ability. You know what I'm saying? So I think Layla McCarter she doesn't have the physical skill set to fuck with Cecilia Braekhus, and she's probably the second best welterweight. I might be missing some people. I got to do some research on that, but that's just the only name that comes to mind right now at that particular division. So it's gonna have to be exactly what that nigga Big Cruz said. You know, Cecilia Braekhus versus Juan Manuel Marquez, nigga at 147. Let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Let me give you that nigga's last fight. Miguel Cotto's fighting somebody similar. Shit, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Let Marquez go out. At least he fight the best woman fighter. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Man.
Y'all niggas ain't right. Y'all niggas ain't right.
So he said Saddam Ali on the side. Oh, that shit is funny as fuck, man.
What about as far as like a Hannah Gabriel or something like that? Still kind of.
No, man, come on, man. Ain't nobody touching Cecilia Braekhus, bro. It's just no, man.
Nope. You know what I like? I like to see. I like to see old girl. Jesus, I just had her name and it just Amanda Serrano. I like to see her move up 2 weight classes. I think it's 3 weight classes if she can do it. You know what I'm saying? I like to see her move up 3 weight classes. Or, you know, maybe they could come to some type of agreement where Cecilia Braekhus move down a weight class, and you know that will help Serrano move up 2 weight classes, and they can meet. You know what I'm saying? Like The only problem with that is Braekhus is 36 years old. She might not be able to lose the weight.
Yeah,
You know
she might be able to.
Yeah. But other than that, I mean, maybe she can move up. Maybe Braekhus can move up to light middleweight. You know what I'm saying? And then old girl could come down. Christina Hammer could come down a weight, and they can meet. Or maybe even Clarissa Shields could come down a weight. I doubt it, but maybe. And they can meet. You know what I'm saying? That'll be an excellent fight for Clarissa Shields if she wins. She got a huge name on her resume. You know, there's a whole lot of shit that can happen. But I just think that Cecilia is going to sit there at welterweight and continue to defend her undisputed status until she wants to retire. That's ultimately what's going to happen. And if she does that, there really is nobody there that can fuck with her, dog.
All right, and you know what, 2K, I actually agree with you on that Amanda Serrano thing of moving up to weight classes, but that's for entirely different purposes.
Yeah.
She fill out a little bit more and make that thing a little more rotund, if you know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about.
That rotund.
Lust in his eyes. Lust in his eyes.
Yeah, he said that.
Let's go.
Hey, 2K, you know what, though? With your scenario with Christina Hammer and Clarissa Shields, the only reason why I don't see that happening, because Clarissa just won the belt at 168, I believe.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm tripping.
Yeah, right. I don't see that happening only because they're trying to make a fight between Hammer and Clarissa.
Yeah.
And they're not going to want to risk that with no Cecilia Braekhus.
You're right. Yep.
All right, so we'll go into our next preview for the weekend. We actually got a lot of title fights this weekend, even Garcia off, but that's probably one of the ones we might not go into. We might say that for a night at the round table. It's one of the lesser fights going on, but one that I'm pretty interested in that's happening this weekend over in the UK. We got ZZ Top, Zhanat Zhakiyanov taking on Ryan Burnett, man. Burnett.
3 rounds.
Who did he win? Who did he beat for his title?
Lee Haskins.
Okay. So they'll actually be fighting in the unification. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up. We love unifications on this show and in boxing in general. 2K, I mean, prediction, breakdown, how it's going.
Ain't shit to break down. Ryan Burnett is a UK level boxer, which means that the nigga, basically, let me translate that. He's a second tier type of boxer, which means he ain't got shit for ZZ Top's high pressure style. If Rashid Warren couldn't do shit with it, Ryan Burnett ain't gonna do shit with it. Matter of fact, ZZ Top was so fucking effective against Rashid Warren that he made that nigga move down in weight. You know what I'm saying? So that nigga Burnett about to get knocked the fuck out. I got 3 rounds, B. 3 rounds. Tops. For real.
All right, on to the rest of the crew. Predictions on this one as well, Bo.
You saying 3 rounds?
3 rounds, B.
I say 4.
Yep.
I say 4 only because it might take him a round or two to try to kind of get his timing down a little bit on Ryan. But I agree with you wholeheartedly about Ryan Burnett, man. Ryan Burnett is a Commonwealth champion, man. Who just happened to grab the belt. He happened to grab the belt.
Yep.
I mean, one thing about ZZ, he gonna make you question your heart in there, man. So you definitely gotta have heart in there. And that's what it's gonna come down to. I don't think Burnett is gonna be able to handle that amount of pressure. You know, he had a Haskins that he was able to out pressure, but when you're talking about ZZ, you know, straight from the school of Ricky Hatton pressure. I mean, that's his trainer as well. So I have it actually going longer than 4. I think Burnett will stand up to 7 before he's looking like Rocky or a slab of meat in a poultry house. in Big Cool's backyard on his farm.
Not funny, motherfucker.
Predictions from Bernard and Big Cool if y'all got any. Bernard?
2K says 3. Bo says 4. You say 7.
Yeah.
Big Cool, Big Smoke. What you say? Yeah.
I was gonna say 5 just because they was going in order and shit. So I mean,
Damn.
hey.
Damn. I wanted to say 5. I guess I go 6.
Well, there it is. We learning how to count over this bitch.
Yo, hey, 2K, you placing your bets online on this one? Slapping a 100 on his ass?
Hey, bro, the poll's open.
No homo.
It's open.
Betting a dozen brown eggs that it don't go past 3.
Don't do that to 2K, dog. Don't place that bet, dog.
Oh shit!
We're talking about his livelihood with the Megs.
Yeah, he'll make sure that shit don't go by 3 then too. For real, if he had to goddamn fly to the UK.
All right, so we got another one that's coming up this weekend as well. Not really getting a lot of attention, understandably. Jezreel Corrales will be making the defense of his title. We're actually expecting him to possibly have a unification against Miguel Berchelt this year, but I guess because of the injury, Berchelt's team wanted them to have a warm up, which is Salido. Not really the warm up match I'd have in mind, coming off injury. But I mean, it is what it is. But with that said, Corrales will be taking on Alberto Machado and a fight to set up, hopefully, a unification with Miguel Berchelt early on in 2018. Predictions from everyone. Let me start off with Bo. Bo, you there? All right, passing it along. Big cool predictions for this one. Corrales versus Machado.
Corrales unanimous decision. I don't know too much about Machado, but house money on Corrales. I think he'll get it done.
On a Bernard.
Corrales, UD.
All right, we'll let 2K give his assessment as well, man. Break down how you see this one going.
Yeah, there's not much on Alberto Machado, man, primarily because he's fought only in Puerto Rico. This is going to be his first fight in America. So he's stepping up real big in this fight. I think the lights are going to be too bright. He does have an advantage. I mean, he's 5'10" with a 72-inch reach. And I think, what's his name, Jezreel Corrales, I think he's only got like a 67 or 68-inch reach, and he's only 5'6". Height and reach advantage there for Machado. And I'm not going to lie to you, I've never seen him fight, so I'm hoping he's a boxer from the outside. He's got some power. He's 18-0 with 15 knockouts. But that could be just a testament to him fighting a bunch of C-level niggas over in Puerto Rico. So, you know, who knows about that? We'll see October 21st if he's the real deal or not. Given that height and reach advantage, we'll see how smart he is, if he's able to exploit that, or he could be one of them tall-ass niggas that fight small. You know what I'm saying? And if that's the case, he's going to get his ass beat really badly by Corrales. So we'll see, man. I kind of want to watch this fight just to see how this guy works. And we could definitely see another Miguel Berchelt type motherfucker pop up out of nowhere and beat one of the champions. You never know, man.
Definitely a good one there. Corrales looked kind of flustered again in his last fight. I was kind of hoping we got a rematch between him and Robinson Castellanos. I definitely felt that fight was worthy of running back, you know, especially the way it ended. But, you know, like 2K says, the physical intangibles in this one is what makes it most interesting with Machado. Being from Puerto Rico, I actually think that he will have a nice fundamental set as far as being able to fight with his height. You know, I'll try and get
not necessarily. He can fuck around and be like goddamn Feats for Dejo.
True, very true. But we'll wait till this one, Bo. I actually came to you for a prediction first, but I guess you had some difficulties at the time. So let me get your thoughts on this one.
I only saw one fight with Machado, the guy he's fighting, Machado Murata. But I mean, Corrales should win this fight. But I agree with 2K. We've been seeing Corrales. He has not looked that great in his last fight, and we have been seeing a lot of these unknown guys who we don't know that much about pop up out of nowhere and come up and, you know, I mean, that's how Berchelt came about. So definitely his power could be a factor. We don't know because of the level of competition. But with the way Corral's been looking and as vulnerable as Corral's been looking, you know, it definitely is an interesting fight. So I think Corral should win, but I wouldn't be shocked if he takes down.
I don't think people should sleep on this fight, to be honest with you, man, because you know, like B just alluded to, man, Corrales makes a lot of mistakes in the ring, and he didn't look too good in his last fight. So, you know, this kid might come out of nowhere, man, and bust his ass. I mean, BoxRec has him ranked as the #2 Puerto Rican fighter. Now, this is, of course, is BoxRec rankings. I mean, these are the same motherfuckers that got Canelo Alvarez ranked #1 pound for pound. So there might not be much credibility there, but who knows, man? You know, of course, #1 would be Felix Verdejo. So he's, you know, they see him as that high. They got him as a 4-star guy. He might be the shit. You know what I'm saying? And correction of something I said earlier, I said this is his first fight in America. It's actually not. It's his 5th fights. He's fought 4 times previously, so in America. So you never know, man. You might come out of nowhere and bust his ass. He's definitely got the physical advantages. So we'll see.
And I'm actually hoping for the upset, just to throw a monkey wrench in Golden Boys.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I feel
that.
That.
Nice to get a unification either way out of it. So I'm not really tripping on that part. You know, eventually, I'm pretty sure they got some options on them. You know the way Golden Boy works. So yeah, this is actually one of the sleepers. You know that's not been talked about much, as well as the Garcia fight this week, which is part of the World Boxing Super Series. But like I said, we'll be breaking that one down during the week on probably on the night of the round table. That said, we'll go into our what is the fuckery of boxing award of the week. I'll go ahead and pass it on to Bernard for that one.
The fuckery award.
We got one more fight to do.
Okay.
The Sign Down versus Ryota Murata rematch is this next weekend as well. So let me get you guys' thoughts on that. Some thought it was controversial, or a lot of people did, which is why the WBA mandated a rematch. I actually thought Down did win, personally, but heading into the rematch, what do you guys think? Murata definitely had the upper hand in the latter part of the fight and came on strong. So 2K, you think it will be a continuation of the last fight as far as Murata picking up his steam, or do you think that Don will be able to make those adjustments in possibly pull out this one and actually win his first official title?
I think it'll look exactly the same as the second half of the first fight. Njam is one of those guys that starts off fast and then curtails off towards the end of the fight. So, again, he's going to start off fast. Actually, let me just say this. It's going to look like the last fight. That's what I should say. It's going to look just like the first fight. He's going to start off fast. Then he's going to curtail off. So, the only difference here is that the judges will probably give it to Murata if he doesn't win by knockout. They got a whole new stadium that this fight is going to be in, a whole different location in Japan. They got a whole new panel of judges. He's fighting the same guy. It's going to be for the same belt that they were looking at, which was vacant at the time. So if Murata stays on his feet, makes it look anywhere near how it was in the first fight, they'll make sure he gets that decision this time. And again, as I promoted it the first fight, I will still promote this rematch. It's a good fight. It's something it's a fight that people shouldn't miss.
Yeah. All right, passing on to the rest of the panel. Big Cool, how you see the rematch playing out?
I think Murata will win. He should win. Even though I guess he underestimated Ndom the first go around, thinking he was in his backyard, he'd just get the decision. But the judges had something else in mind. But I think that he'll improve. I think he went back to watch the film, and I think he'll make the proper adjustments. I think he'll win a unanimous decision.
All right.
Man, this is a fight that I watched twice. I had scored it in I believe like 116, either 116 or 111 or 115, 112. Then I had to go back and rewatch it again because people kept saying it was a robbery. When I came down to it and I really studied each round, it was 114, 113, and he still won the fight. Endom has that weird, when he gets hit real hard, he flies into the ropes. So it looks like, oh, he got hit with a heavy punch. It's just that he's on his feet when he's getting hit, on his tippy toes and movement getting hit. So I'm going to piggyback on what both guys said. I think Murata gets the decision unanimously because he is in his hometown. And I think after all that controversy, what happened last time, them saying it was a robbery, which it wasn't if you really studied the fight, he's going to get it this time. I hate to say it, unless Endom is going to have to be the one to execute a game plan, whereas he's going to have to keep outboxing Murata. But what he has to do is do not move in front of Murata's right hand. Every time he throws that jab, or he moves straight to his left, because if I'm correct, I'm in southpaw, Murata is orthodox. Each time Endom moves to his left, Murata kept tagging him with that fucking right hand.
They're both orthodox.
Oh, they're both orthodox? Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Excuse me. Well, Endom kept going into his left and kept running right directly into Murata's right hand. Don't do that. Either hit your combination, pop back out, give yourself some distance, and if you is gonna go to that right, get your guard up or duck under from getting hit from that right. That's what Endom needs to make the adjustments. If he does that and don't get hit all crazy while he's in motion and don't get knocked down, he possibly could come up with a unanimous decision.
All right, Bo.
Man, yeah, I gotta agree with the panel. Listen, Murata, hopefully he went back. He looked at the film. He comes back. He does a little bit things differently, and he comes out with the victory. I think this is another fight that I think a lot of cats are sleeping on. The only thing I hate about it is it's for a title that supposedly the WBA was getting rid of to consolidate. That's my only issue. But this could be another sleeper fight, in my opinion.
All right, I'm actually thinking Murata's not going to leave it to chance this time. He was actually known for his power, and I see him winning by knockout in this one. I don't think he's going to leave it to chance. Even being in his backyard again, Endom's definitely been put on his ass a lot in the past. So, I mean, I see this one ending by stoppage. So I guess we'll go in and let Bernard do his thing as far as fuck your boxing award of the week, man. What you got for us?
Quick question. Do you have anybody for the final blow?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that one.
Okay. I'm just going to be real quick. I'm going to go. The fuckery award, boxing award goes to the fans. The fans as well as a particular fighter's camp. I'm going to start off in the UK. Apparently, the fans decided to riot and get into a fight either during or after the Groves Cox fight, where if you notice, it was just total pandemonium. Security wasn't even unable to break up the fight. Then I believe there was another riot at another boxing event where apparently 3 people were stabbed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was that the Groves Jamie Cox event?
Nah, I think that was a different fight.
Different fight.
Wow.
That was a different fight. And then we go into America after Jamel Charlo knocked out Erickson Lubin, as Derek James, another trainer, and Jamal Charlo was headed to the ring, of course, to congratulate Jamel. You see a chair come from the right hand side. Erislandy, Lara's wife, was filming it and happened so to catch the whole commotion as the chair flew and hit 2 or 3 people. That led to Jamal Charlo and a few other people from their camp rushing over there. Allegedly, we thought it was Lubin's camp, but it wasn't. Apparently, and I'm going to say allegedly, it was hers camp that threw that chair. For whatever reason, fans and camps and stuff, come on, man, this is boxing. Let's not turn this sport into like how football fans in the UK and over Europe. And when I mean football, I'm talking about soccer, people, where fans end up rioting and fighting over who their fighter are and who their favorite fighter is and such as that. Man, let's keep the sport respectful. That's what boxing has always been about. It's been a gentleman's sport. Let's keep it that way. So for those people that acted out, doing that, like being real ignorant, using weapons to stab people, fighting in the crowd, throwing chairs, y'all get the fuckery award this week.
All right. Big up. There's definitely no place for that in boxing. It's already a pugilist sport. We definitely don't need the fans or the entourages inciting anything. You know, let the fighters do their stuff in the ring and leave it at that. You know, you guys want to fight, get a damn boxing license and handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Go to the gym. Go to the gym and spar.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and go into the final blow. I'm actually going to keep it short and discreet. I had a topic in mind. We've actually, you know, with the age of social media and all that, and everybody being so quick to jump the gun on stuff, or just wanted that want quick reaction. I think, you know, with me being, you know, being in the media and doing journalism partially, you know, I like to see us take more responsibility in what we're putting out there, man. Like, don't rush to be the first. I notice that's a big thing right now. Is as opposed to putting out the accurate stuff, you know, we want to be first. And, you know, I fell victim to that, even though it might not be something I've written. I fell victim as far as you know, even putting out false stuff, you know, jumping the gun, you know, without vetting it, and, you know, just simple journalistic integrity that you have to have. You know, you vet everything before you put it out there, make sure it's multiple sources and all that, you know. So definitely, I feel like as a whole within the industry or within media in general, man, I'd like to see us be more responsible in that as far as what's being put out there. Don't jump the gun and being the first. Just make sure it's the most accurate thing that's put out there. So, I mean, that's pretty much my only thing. You know, we're coming to the close of the year, you know, not a lot of big fights left, so I don't expect to see too much more of this happening, but I just definitely just want all of us to be be responsible about what we put out there, you know. Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to put out there for the final blow this week, man. Just be more accurate. Don't jump the gun on the time, you know, on being the first out there, man, because it doesn't help anybody just because you say something if it's not accurate. It helps nobody, and like I said, it damages your reputability at the end of the day. So with that said, I'll go ahead and let everybody do their outros and give out their social media handles. Starting off with Bo. Where can they find you at, man?
They can find me at Truth and Facts About Boxing. They can find me with you guys at the Movement, DAMUVMENT. Ring IQ, pound for pound, wherever they talking boxing, man. Follow me on Instagram at truth_factbox1. And to further back up your point about being first out there, Errol Spence is not leaving Al Heyman.
Right. Well, we talked to Derek James on the last episode.
Exactly.
Like, nah, fuck that. He was like, nah, that's not happening. So, yeah, we got that out there already.
All right, passing it along. A partner in crime, Detective B. Where can they find you, man?
Man, you can find me on Truth and Facts About Boxing on YouTube with my partner in crime, Bo. You can find me running the Instagram page with B, the Movement, DAMUVMENTBP. You can also follow me on Twitter at DAMUVMET Boxing. Also find me in the Movement Facebook group, as well as Eastwick, Ring IQ, Supreme Boxing, Colossal Boxing Talk. Shout out to Danger Zone Boxing Talk, Fed, and Malachi. No, on a serious note, my prayers go out to Malachi.
Yeah.
His mother had surgery. She's recovering right now. So my prayers go out to her to have a speedy recovery. You can follow me in a couple other groups as well, such as Fisticuffs, and that's about it, man. Let's keep doing this boxing thing. Oh yeah, check out the new post the rules for the Charlos on the Instagram page. I
Word up.
posted up.
Word up. Good shit.
Check out. Also, if y'all didn't check out early this week, I posted a new Detective B skit. Check that out as well. So,
man, you need to start tagging niggas, man. I did not know you was doing that.
Oh man, that shit is funny and a motherfucker.
Oh.
It's actually a special one for the.
You know what? I'll post it on Instagram. You know what? I'll put it in the group for you on 2K.
Hell yeah, because I'm not on Instagram, so
you know what? No, I could download the video, post it in the group for you, man. I'll do that right now.
Yeah.
All right,
man. You know what? You should start doing that, but just post it in the group. Period.
Yeah. All right, yeah, Eastwick and all that. They definitely like that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
On the Big Cool, where can they find you other than eating chips while we're live on the goddamn air?
Bernard almost named the group, man. He almost named this group. He skipped it. Started with a T. He almost said it.
Oh man, we ain't fuck that. That motherfucker.
Fuck Tavon.
That nigga, we've been going at it all week, and he know doggone well. Hey, for whatever reason, I said, Joe, you got an issue? Let's talk about it on the phone. That nigga like it ain't that serious. Okay.
And don't ever tag me in nothing else, Tavon. I seen that damn tag. You tag me in.
Shit.
All right, Big Cool, go ahead and give out your social media handle, dog.
Oh man, I ain't been active because I've been dealing with some personal shit, but it's Colossal. What I'm talking about? Twitter, Colossal CBT. Facebook, Colossal Boxing Talk. YouTube, Colossal Boxing Talk. CBT, Eastwick, The Movement. All them motherfuckers, man. I'll be back active soon enough. But yeah, I'm in the groups that matter the most. Shout out to Wilson, Chris, all y'all niggas.
All right. And 2K?
Yeah, man, you can first I want to say, don't worry about anything these niggas said. All their groups are whack. Come over here to the Prodigy of Boxing Talk, you know what I'm saying, on YouTube. That's the real shit. But yeah, you catch me on every one of these guys' individual platforms. Of course, this one, Prodigy of Boxing Talk, is my individual platform. Of course, we have all the groups on Facebook, Eastwick, The Movement, Boxing Updates. Shout out to everybody out there that I fuck with. There's only I got a lot of associates, but there's only so few that I really fuck with. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all niggas being real specific today.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta let it know, man.
You know what I mean by that. You know what I mean? So got a lot of associates, but I really only fuck with a select few. But shout out to everybody.
XL.
Word up. Shout out to everybody that supports the movement as a whole, man. Not just my platform, but all of our platforms.
Right.
And this one in particular. We got some shit, or I got some shit that I'm cooking up for y'all. It's in the works. But I'll definitely give y'all updates whenever this shit drops. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, just keep supporting the movement, and we'll keep doing what we doing here.
All right. And I am the one and only Twan the Divine Liberty of the movement.
AKA Black Bed Bug.
I can't.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And 2K ain't gonna edit it out either, so shit, you just gotta lay this one down.
We
oh shit! Yeah, my bad.
I'm about to say we live. Shit, what the fuck you talking?
We live.
We live. Okay, yeah. So, shit.
Man, definitely. I mean, you can catch me on all these guys' platforms. Shit, 2K ain't had me on the show in like fucking 3 years. I don't know.
2K slacking on that shit.
Yeah, he don't want little bro on the show no more. I see how
my bad, y'all right about that. Man.
He said he got to get his lighting right for Twan.
That nigga over there fucking with Willie the Kid. That Willie the Kid be bringing them eggs wholesale and shit.
Yo,
Like, fuck with it.
that nigga got me.
I got the
Straight off the
brown
boat.
all day. I got the brown all day.
Straight off the boat. Straight off the boat.
Oh man, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
That motherfucker Willie the Kid be calling 2K. I'm in St. Louis, man. The eggs down here is at half price.
That nigga
Fam,
really
get those
funny.
ASAP, fam.
but yeah, you can catch me. I do a lot of stuff with Bo during the week for Truth and Facts about boxing. You can catch me on his platform, him and Bernard's platform the most. If I'm not in these Facebook groups, which I'm kind of laying back on because the casuals are just driving me crazy right now, and I just can't keep smoking my weed the deal with, man. I need some alternatives, so I've been taking a break.
But B, you also control the Instagram as well too, so let people know that it's not just me. The post that he be making about certain fights and upcoming fights and stuff, that's him as well. So we both control the Instagram as well as the Twitter.
All right, but definitely shout out to Bernard. The skits are comedy. I've been helping them as far as coming up with some ideas for them recently. So I mean, just if you don't watch, look at the page for the information or the upcoming fights. At least watch them for the skits, man, because the shit is very entertaining. With that said, man, you can catch us every Sunday. Well, generally Sunday if you ain't got something else going on. Till next week, man. Definitely check us out, and thanks for continuing to support us.